Hey, it's freaking Fab. Huh? It's freaking Fab. What? It's freaking Fab. It's freaking Fab, breaking balls, takes me off the walls, talking all that shit that make you wanna get involved. Ain't no ball. Rick and Fab, no ball. Look, when you wanna talk ball, tell me who you call. I know it's Rick and Fab, got it all, ain't no ball. Look, Rick and Fab, no ball. Yeah.
All right, folks, we're back. We're better than ever. It's Rick and Fab, no ball. It's episode
9.
Is it 9?
I think it's 9.
Yeah, episode 9. We're here in studio. It's me. It's Fab. We know ball. We got MereKat with us as well. He'll be joining us a little bit later. You know the drill as per usual. Fab, how's your day going so far? What's going on?
It's pretty good. Normal Monday. Went to work. Really not much to look forward to. I didn't realize the home run derby was tonight. So
yeah, we're recording live during the home run derby. I got that on my side TV. That'll be fun to tune into. I'm not really a baseball guy, as we know, but always down to. If baseball was more like this, where everyone was just hitting home runs 24/7, I probably would be a baseball guy.
Oh, I'd watch all 162 games or whatever it is.
Yeah, maybe less games too. Less games, more runs. But yeah, if hitting a baseball wasn't so hard, I would definitely be more into baseball. Well, yeah, we got the derby on. I'm excited. Are you watching right now as well?
Yeah, I got it pulled up. Just going back and forth on my Ray Allen type stuff.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I was late to get in the studio today, so I apologize to both of you for that. But the burger my mother made for me tonight could have cured cancer. If you saw this burger that I just had, you would have understood.
What do you put on a burger?
I'm a very plain burger guy. We grilled up some sweet peppers tonight, actually, so I put some of those on there. But I'm usually just cheese and ketchup personally.
No mayo?
I hate mayo in any context.
Oh man.
I have the palate of a 12-year-old dude. I'm getting everything plain. I don't even like lettuce. Lettuce is the most bland food that exists, and I have never eaten a salad.
You wouldn't put lettuce on a piece of lettuce on a burger? You couldn't do that?
No.
That's crazy.
I'm not the kind of guy who will straight up not eat something if it has something I don't like on it, but I'm not going to be happy about it eating a piece of lettuce. I'll probably take it off if given the opportunity.
Yeah, I could. That's me. I could never do tomato. Tomato on the burger comes off every single time, 10 times out of 10.
Grind it up and turn it into ketchup paste. I love tomatoes, but in most other contexts, I'm not a fan. But yeah, I have the palate of a 12-year-old. Even the fact that I'm eating a burger and not just hot dogs. As a kid, I didn't even like burgers.
Now that's crazy.
Yeah, dude. I was the pickiest eater you can imagine.
For me, it's got to be mayo. I could do with or without lettuce. Usually lettuce, onion, ketchup, mustard, maybe pickles.
8 pickles. Can't do them.
Actually, I usually do without pickles, but if there's pickles on it, I'll take it. But mayo is very essential for me on a burger for some reason.
My fun fact, I've had lettuce before, obviously, but my fun fact is I have not once in my life eaten a bite of salad. Never even tried it. Just never salad. Never. I swear to God, hand to the Bible. I could go get my mom. My mom can confirm it for you. Never even touched the salad. I'm unhealthy. I am undiverse with my palate. It's bad. I was have you heard about this Skittles drama that's going down?
Oh yeah, well I saw somebody tweet out that Skittles were bad for you or something.
Apparently Skittles cause brain damage, which would explain a lot because Skittles was my favorite candy growing up. So that and the CTE from football, that's probably what's going on in this fucked up noggin of mine.
I was gonna say that explains a lot about Marshawn Lynch as well.
My mama
big Skittles guy.
Oh, he's a bigger fan of CTE and Skittles than me.
Right. Yeah, the combination there.
Oh yeah. But my mom saw this article. It's apparently this additive they put in Skittles that preserves them. Mm-hmm. That's causing the brain damage. And my mom comes home super concerned because she read an article on Facebook today. She's like, I read a list. There's 10 things that you're not supposed to eat because of this, and you eat 8 of them. It was just the most basic snack foods like Ritz, Oreos, Skittles, just Yeah, so that puts my palate in perspective for you guys. I'm
I've
not a
had
huge
Skittles in
candy
forever.
guy these days. Like, I don't really eat candy, but if I do, it's probably going to be Skittles. I love Skittles.
No, you really can't miss with Skittles. That's actually crazy because
you actually can, apparently, because they are damaging the brain.
What was this, like a Business Insider article or something? It had to have been.
I don't even know if it's legit or not. I just know my mom saw something on Facebook about it and was worked into an absolute tizzy.
Skittles lawsuit claims toxin makes it unfit for human consumption. That's a headline if I've ever seen one. That feels like something you would read on your Snapchat, like when you scroll down past your stories. Like that's one of those things.
Yeah,
we're gonna have to look into that. Maybe we should do like an experiment. We just all eat Skittles all the time and see what happens.
10 times this toxic chemical is totally me. Okay.
That's
all right.
crazy.
Do we want to get into the ball talk? Not a whole lot of ball to talk today, but do we want to get into it?
Yeah, we get into some Drew League.
Drew League. There is one person on the planet Earth that could go play a pickup game of basketball and get the NBA, the official NBA app to stream it and get that stream to crash. There's one person who can do that. It's LeBron James.
Correct.
James, the GOAT, the greatest to ever do it. Best player in history, and I say that as a Bulls fan, best in history.
Agreed.
LeBron went back and played in the Drew League, and it was just it's just always a privilege to watch LeBron play the game of basketball. As a knower of ball, LeBron, a fellow knower of ball, probably the top one knower of ball in NBA history. Like, it's just always a privilege, especially with no sports on right now. It was, and it really, for me, just put into perspective, like, I mean, you could say this for a billion different, games that LeBron's played in, but just like the gap between LeBron and like
the next
semi-pro and a semi-pro player is just like preposterous.
Yeah, I mean, like, there's
20% effort he was at maybe, and he was like comfortably like twice as good as the next best guy.
There's really, I can't think of another athlete, maybe Tom Brady, that moves the needle like LeBron moves the needle. It's actually insane. And obviously, when LeBron does anything, you're going to get the LeBron haters, of which there are many.
That's what I was going to bring up.
But even being like a LeBron hater, I think it's like people like with a dump in their pants about LeBron being at the Drew League. I don't understand how you can have like an opinion on it other than that it's cool. Like, because it's not like he does it every year. Like if LeBron went to the Drew League every single year, like to dominate these like washed up college guys or whatever, like then it would be like, okay, like this is kind of annoying. Like LeBron just wants the spotlight, but like to come back and do it, because we haven't really seen NBA players in the Drew League that I know of, at least since like the lockout, because it was huge during the lockout.
DeMar plays in the Drew League pretty much every summer. There's a lot of guys who will
he's an LA guy, right?
Yeah. That's for DeMar, it's like a giving back to his city type deal, which is cool. He loves LA. My city loved me like DeMar.
No, but that one dude who had the clip when he got LeBron on the spin move.
Oh my God! I wanted to talk. I'm glad you brought him up.
Imagine being that guy.
If I'm that guy, every single person I know for the rest of time is hearing about that. I'm getting that clip put on my tombstone somehow. I'm getting that clip put on a T-shirt somehow. I'm going up to girls in the club telling them I cooked LeBron James.
Yeah.
In 20 years, this is one of those stories where, like, as the time goes on, you just exaggerate it more and more and more.
Yeah.
And this is going to be one of those where, like, 20 years from now or 40 years from now, whatever, he's going to be telling his grandkids, like, oh, I personally forced LeBron into retirement. I gave him 40 and he hung up the cleats the next day. Like, this is absolutely, if I'm that guy, everybody on planet Earth is hearing about it for the rest of the time, and rightfully so. If you do that to LeBron, all the bragging rights in the world.
You know how they used to have, like, when we first got flip phones, you get like the signature that would be under every text message you would send, like it would just be your signature. I would turn that into like the spin move into a GIF, and it would just be attached to everything that I sent, like for the rest of time.
Yeah. And I saw one, like, people were giving the guy guarding LeBron shit. I saw one of the dudes posted, he was like, idol turned into rival, and like people were giving shit for calling him a rival. Like, I don't care. Anything is fair game there. You got to play basketball against LeBron James or with LeBron James, and like you shared the court with him. That's something you take to the grave, and that's what I think the coolest part of that for LeBron was giving those guys some shine. Because the Drew League, it's not like, I called it a pickup game earlier. It's not like just pick up random basketball. It's a very established game, and like I was surprised at like how good these guys were. They were hooping out there.
Yeah, it's a lot of like I saw one of the I think it was the number 21 dude, the bald dude. I think he played for St. Bonaventures.
The Walmart Richard Jefferson.
Yeah, he played for St. Bonnie's back in the day.
Yeah, they're all like former D1 guys or like street legends. Like these are not pushovers in any sense of the word. It's just, I think like we've talked about this before. The NBA has the largest skill gap between like good enough for the NBA and not good enough. Like if you're in the NBA, you're just a whole different level.
So do you know if is this like are we going to see LeBron go back and like keep playing with this team, or is this just like an exhibition game?
No, this is a one-time thing as far as
this is a one-time thing.
Yeah. And then Kyrie was supposed to pull up as well and just no-showed him. Like didn't tell anybody, didn't tell the commissioner, didn't tell the guys he was supposed to hoop with. Like just Kyrie Irving being Kyrie Irving just fell off the face of the earth when he was supposed to play.
Yeah, I guess he was up. He was at some, I forget exactly who it was, but he was at some camp, like training like little kids, which actually is as good of an excuse you can have for missing something like that.
Yeah, but I mean, send a text, give a call. Like nobody knew.
Yeah, I saw there was a funny quote from the commissioner. It was like, "Oh, you know, Kyrie's going to do Kyrie, or he's going to do his thing."
Yeah.
That would have been awesome.
That's probably just like when you book Kyrie for something. That's probably just the flight risk you have when you do it, is he probably won't show up. Like if you book Kanye for a festival, like he just pulled out a Rolling Loud, you just kind of have to accept there's a good chance he's not coming through. Whether that's a Drew League pickup game or whether that's the team that's employing you and paying you tens of millions of dollars to play basketball, he might just not show up.
Right. Yeah. It's that's like the Kyrie clause that'll be in all the contracts. Like I might just not show
the Kyrie asterisk. Let's call it that.
Yeah.
He might just not show up.
Oh, unreal. The Drew League's back though. They brought LeBron single-handedly.
I had a lot of fun watching. If there's still streams out there, I might end up tuning in. It wasn't very high quality, like in terms of production value, obviously, but
I think it was just
some great
just
hoopers.
Fans. It was just fans with their iPhones, just like recording like live on Twitch. I'm pretty sure.
No, there was. Yeah, I think it pretty much was, but like the NBA app backed it, the NBA official website backed it.
Which that's what makes it that much more insane, is like they just need the eye. Like if LeBron's playing basketball anywhere, like it doesn't matter if he's on a little Tykes hoop, like somebody's going to stream it and people are going to watch it.
Nobody moves the needle like this guy. Nobody, whether it's the stands like me who are dick riding for the guy, or whether it's the haters that tune in just to fucking make fun of him. Like nobody moves the needle like LeBron.
Exactly. It's
very
insane.
Very cool to see him give the Drew League guys some love. See those guys, kind of get their shine, because those guys are grinders.
Yeah,
they're getting off their 9 to 5, fucking slinging insurance or at the car dealership, whatever they're doing. Like they got full-time jobs and they had to go guard LeBron James. Just nuts.
Or imagine being a guy who on LeBron's team though, and you find out like, LeBron's playing with us today. Like you're in layup lines.
Even better.
That clip when LeBron's walking out, like, can you imagine doing your layup lines and you see LeBron coming out wearing the same jersey you are? Like,
and there was like a dude who I don't have his number, name, or clips or anything, so this is like terrible radio. But there was a dude who was like just absolutely clipping threes, and like LeBron probably got 5 assists to this guy alone. Like, there's some guys on this team like balling out. Yeah. Shit, he'd space the floor better than Westbrook at this point.
I was gonna say,
Transition. Boom. That's a
segue.
That's a segue, folks. We're going to talk Westbrook and his agent getting divorced, and just keep you guys updated on this whole debacle going on in Los Angeles. So Fab, you said you haven't really heard much about this whole agent breakup, right?
Yeah, I don't know anything about Russ and his agent.
So his agents and him split. This guy has been representing him since he got to the league in 2008. They've been longtime guys. Apparently, he's like a pretty reputable, like he's got good relationships in the league. He's like a well-known agent, well-known whatever. And like he put out a very like open in public letter or statement, whatever you want to call it, like unlike anything we've ever seen from an agent. Like very out there, very like gave some insight into the situations. Like I have never in any sport whatsoever seen an agent put something like this out there after splitting with their player for whatever reason. And he said it was irreconcilable. How do you pronounce that word?
I know reconcile would be the word. So irreconcilable.
Irreconcilable. I've like read this word so many times, but I don't think I've ever said it out loud. But regardless, he gave the same difference. He gave the same reason that my parents would give for the divorce. Like, it was a very weird statement. And I'm just going to read you 3 paragraphs from this letter just to kind of give some context to how insane this statement is for an agent to put out about a former client. Like, he's put, like, this is him putting his reputation on the line pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
Now, with the possibility of a 4th trade in 4 years, the marketplace is telling the Lakers they must add additional value with Russell in any trade scenario. And even then, such a trade may require Russell to immediately move on from the team via buyout. My belief is that this type of transaction only serves to diminish Russell's value, and his best option is to stay with the Lakers, embracing the starting role and support that Darvin Ham, their new head coach, publicly offered. Russell is a first ballot Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame player and will prove that again before he's retired. Unfortunately, irreconcilable differences exist as to his best pathway forward, and we are no longer working together. I wish Russell and his family the very best. And the reporter who wrote this article says after that, this is an unprecedented level of tea spilling from the agent in real time. So the way I interpreted it as, I mean, there's really no other way to interpret it. Russell's trying to like get out of there, kind of move on, wants to get back to like playing basketball in his ideal situation. Mm-hmm. And his agent's like, stay and take the $44 million because I'm getting a decent cut of that $44 million. So it sounds like Russell's trying to get back to hooping and is willing to take a buyout to do that in his preferred destination. But his agent wants him to either take the payday or stay with the Lakers and kind of try to reestablish his value and remind people who he is. What's your initial response?
So you the agent wants from the statement, it seems that the agent is okay with the buyout, or he's not okay with the buyout.
No, my belief is that this type of transaction only serves to diminish Russell's value, and his best option is to stay with the Lakers, is what he said.
That's very bizarre. I honestly, I feel like a lot of players are going the no agent route, like especially like now people are just representing themselves. I mean, we never talked about Freddie Freeman, but not to switch sports, but I feel like agents are in general very snaky, slimy people. That's right. Just kind of how I kind of look at agents. So does Russell have a new agent now, or is he going to represent himself?
I have no idea as far as that goes, but no,
that's kind of wild, especially after what we saw today about like the alleged little 3-way phone call with the big 3 in LA there about how they were all committed to their roles in the future to help the team or something, which felt very a lot of weird shit going on in LA.
Yeah,
specifically with the Lakers.
This writer goes on to say, this is also, got to give credit, Jovan Buha. I might be butchering that name, but it's a great name, and I'm sorry. I know he's an avid listener. I'm sorry if I butchered it. He said it's the Lakers guy for The Athletic. Once again, I pay for The Athletic $1 a month, not to brag. Mm-hmm. The subtext to the agent's language was that Westbrook doesn't want to adhere to new coach Darvin Ham's vision for him. Westbrook becoming a defense-first point who plays more off the ball than he did last season. And as reported weeks ago, the current asking price to take on Westbrook is the Lakers' 2027 or 2029 first pick. Mentions Indiana as a possible landing spot. And just saying that, like, there's been some weird stuff like going on with the Lakers lately, obviously, but LeBron talked on The Shop. He was like his show, like HBO show or YouTube, wherever that's at. He said, he said it really like bothers him when teammates don't want to win as much as he does. There was that weird tweet from Jeannie Buss, like, I miss Kobe. He knew that the team goals was the most important thing and everything else will fall into place, which kind of seemed a little subtweet to me.
Mm-hmm. 100%.
But yeah, it feels like until this report came out, it seemed like this situation was spiraling fast, but now apparently the three all-stars of the Lakers had a conference call and huddled up and said, we're all committed to winning. Have you seen a whole lot about that?
Well, so yeah, what it seems like is kind of like LeBron. Obviously, Russell would be the odd man out in this little big three there. So it kind of feels like the way that I'm imagining it in my head is that AD and LeBron are like we want to win here. Like, we're ready to do what it takes. Like, are you? And then obviously they're kind of implying that Russell is going to take like a back seat and be like you said, like a defense first guy. But I mean, it just doesn't seem like, from what I've seen over Russell Westbrook's career, it doesn't feel like he would ever kind of want to take that back seat. You know what I mean? Like, he's been very outspoken about how like he's proved what he's capable of in the league, and he's going to continue to do that.
And I agree with that to an extent.
100%.
Like,
yeah.
This is a guy who won an MVP. Like, I'm very not a Westbrook guy, but I mean, this slander is getting ridiculous. And yeah, going off that, I just saw a Woj report that he has a desire to be wanted, which who can't relate to that? Who doesn't want to be wanted?
That's true.
Whether it's girls, whether it's an NBA franchise trying to pay you money, who doesn't want to be wanted?
That's the most relatable thing I've ever seen from Westbrook. I think I just did a full 180 on Westbrook here, but you gotta put yourself in his shoes. Like, what is he like? He gets shit all the time for, having faith in himself. Obviously, like we said, like what is he supposed to say? Like you said, he's been an MVP. Like, what do you want him to say? Like, being a premier player in the league for so long, like it's
right.
I don't have a big
article.
takeaway.
That article I was just reading now even suggested it might be better for them to just pay him $45 million to sit at home and like not even bring him in. Like, there's got to be, maybe it's the LeBron dick rider in me that wants to see him win another championship. There's got to be, if they do have to work this out, there's got to be some pathway to work this out.
Yeah, I just don't really have like a conclusion there. Like, it just feels so messy there.
It's just going to be a messy situation, and it feels like it's going to get uglier before it gets resolved.
Yeah, I don't know whose side to take. I don't know what's best for them at this point. I honestly think what's best for them is Westbrook not being there, because I don't think he's capable of taking that backseat role, like we said. But I mean, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what the Lakers look like on when the season starts.
Yeah. So this report on their the Big Three phone conversation today, it's from Chris Haynes of Yahoo, who has kind of become more of a PR guy than an actual newsbreaker recently, but whatever. Mm-hmm. He said, "Well, the uncertainty of Westbrook's future with the Lakers remains. The conversation was organized to make sure all three were on the same page as long as they're joined together in their pursuit of a championship. Westbrook has never requested a trade from the Lakers," sources said. So
yeah, when we got the
it sounds like LeBron and AD are like, okay, maybe there's a very real chance he doesn't get traded. Maybe we just kind of send the feelers out and make sure this isn't completely untenable if we do have to bring him back. But it sounds
exactly, yeah, that's exactly what it is.
As long as they're joined together, feels like another very big asterisk to me, and I think they're still going to be shopping him.
Yeah, I think secretly AD and LeBron obviously would never say this, but they obviously want Kyrie there, which I think makes it just that much more awkward, I think. And if I'm Russell Westbrook right now, like I'm in hell. Yeah, for lack of a better word, I'm just in hell in general. Like
I would love to be in a hell that pays me $45 million annually, but yeah,
true.
It's
true
for a guy who, say what you want about him, slander him what you want. This is a guy who desperately like wants to win and desperately like loves basketball and loves the game. Yeah. Yeah, I do feel for the guy, like you said.
100%. Yeah, it's so messy, man. Like, I really have no clue. I wish there was like odds, or maybe there is odds on like where like Kyrie and these guys are going to end up, because I've
seen KD and Kyrie. I haven't seen anything on Westbrook.
I can see him just like eventually ending up like on like a shitty team somewhere, and getting his probably averaging a triple-double and like carrying him to like the play-in.
That's it. My exact prediction is he goes to a shitty team that thinks, oh, we'll take a couple first-round picks from the Lakers just because we're rebuilding. And that team is going to play themselves right out of the Wembanyama sweepstakes, because Westbrook is going to be still good enough to drag them to a couple wins.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it'll be those couple of years, those year or two with the Thunder.
The Pacers have been brought up a lot as someone who would just eat it to try to build assets up. But yeah, I think if you do trade for Westbrook, you're taking yourself out of those sweepstakes.
Right. But even if you're like the Pacers, if you have a guy there's so many teams where it just doesn't make sense to take on a guy like Westbrook. If you have like a Tyrese Halliburton or something, it's just like the usage of Russell Westbrook is just so high, and he can't play off the ball. Which, like we see, he just wants to be wanted. Nobody wants him for those reasons.
And that's the best situation for Westbrook. But that offense is a very clear and defined ceiling that we already found out about in OKC. So, what do we got next? You have any additional thoughts on Westbrook?
I really don't. I don't have like a single concrete thought on Westbrook. Like I just go back and forth. I take one side and then I'm like, well, and this side, and then I go back to the other side. It's just like I don't know what to think.
And that's what you love about the NBA offseason. It's all just drama and bullshit that we can talk about. And Kevin Durant's probably not even going to get traded. It's looking more and more likely he won't. It's looking more and more likely that Kyrie's going to stay in Brooklyn. This is all just bullshit for idiots like us to talk about, and for idiots like our lovely listeners at home to listen to us talk about.
But
content. That's what the NBA is content.
DeAndre Ayton going back to the Suns, another good little segue, I think bodes well for KD getting traded to the Suns eventually. So we saw DeAndre Ayton accepted the massive offer from the Pacers, in which the Suns immediately matched. So he will be going back to Phoenix. What do you think the Suns, at the All-Star break, where do you think the Suns are going to sit in the West next year? Do you think they'll be top still? Number one?
Yeah, they I don't think they're a team. They're a team that's, as we saw last year, very built to succeed in the regular season, but not very built to succeed in the playoffs. But my concern, if I'm the Suns, like, yeah, you match the deal. Yeah, you got him back for 4 years, but you have a lot of mending to do with that relationship. Like, he is probably not very happy at all with how the negotiations went down. He's not happy with not being offered the max. He's not happy with having to go and find somebody else to pay him and then get matched. That's my main concern if I'm the Suns. It's not winning games yet. It's we got to rebuild this relationship.
Right, and especially
this knowledge is purely off of NBA 2K, but they can't trade him for a few months after recently signing him.
That's right. Yeah, so they can't trade him during the season at all, or can they trade him late season?
I think I think there's.
I wish we knew that.
This is all from 2K My League, but I think it's like a couple months you have to keep him around at least.
Yeah, right.
Okay, can't be traded until January 15th at the earliest, and he has veto power over any trade for a full year.
Okay.
So yeah, he's probably there next season.
Exactly like you said, because there was so many reports coming out that the Suns believed that they could get DeAndre Ayton level production from the likes of fucking JaVale McGee and Bismack Biyombo. Like they felt that what they had already without DeAndre, they were going to get similar production. And now obviously like he's back in the locker room. That's pretty awkward. With at least like the management, I don't think I would imagine he's still close with Book and CP3 or whatever. I think I wasn't aware of I totally forgot about those restrictions on the trading. I mean, I feel like the Suns will probably be top of the West again. But I would bet my life that Suns roster, how it's constructed right now, wouldn't win a championship, or they can't win a championship. I truly believe that. And I think they know that too.
I'm reading the report now. The Suns didn't value Ayton at a max contract, and they had doubts that anyone else in the league would create cap space that could create cap space would also value him at a max. They challenged his agents, Bill Duffy and Nima Namikan, I butchered another name there, to go out and get an offer sheet, which is exactly what they did. But like, yeah, that's smart from the financial perspective, but you have a rocky relationship with one of your franchise cornerstones now. And you add on, if you remember, him and Monty Williams got into it during Game 7 when they got 40-piece by Luka.
Yeah. He didn't want to go in, right?
He only played 17 minutes that game.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he didn't want to go in. Like he got told to go in, he was like, no.
Yeah,
which is a bad sign. Confirmed.
Yeah, just like Kyrie, when you get paid to play basketball, you should probably show up and play basketball when you're asked to.
And this also, just for the reason that we've seen, obviously I've talked about this before, Myles Turner being on the brink of getting traded, in quotations, for the past like 5 years. I was like, finally, like Myles Turner's finally going to get traded. DeAndre Ayton's going there, because I wasn't positive the Suns were going to match that, but it looks like we're going to see another.
They did it within minutes, which was surprising.
It was continue. Quick. We're going to see another season of Myles Turner in Indiana. For some reason, I just want him to get traded, just because they keep talking about it. I just want it to happen. He's gonna. Yeah. It looks like he'll be in Indiana still.
Greatest state in the union, baby. Where would you rather be in the planet than Indiana?
I've never been to Indiana. I would like to go one day, though.
Actually, you know our boy Bailey Carlin, BW Carlin.
Mm-hmm.
So he's heading down to. Chris Bosh is hosting a camp out in Carmel, Indiana, which is like a rich suburb of Indianapolis, a very random place to host a camp. But yeah, Bailey is going to be out there. He runs Bosch's social. I texted with him. I might get a chance to go out there and hang with him, maybe even see the Bosch man if I can convince Bailey. But
get him on the pod. Get Bosch on the pod.
Dude, I don't even. The last time I went out in Bloomington, like half the IU roster was at the bar. Trace Jackson Davis, who's the best player in the Big Ten, for those who don't know. Probably the best player in the nation. Trace Jackson Davis, Race Thompson, bunch of IU basketball players at the bar. And like, I went up to him like very drunkenly, was like, yo, they're like, I think they're like, we're not on like a first name basis, but they kind of know me as like the tall guy that's always going to ask him for a picture.
Yeah.
Like I every time they're at the bars, I'm drunk and I'm just fanboying for them. So like they know of me, but like they would never remember my name. Right. I went up drunk as fuck. I'm like, yo, I got this podcast now. You gotta come on. And they're like, oh, absolutely, bro. We'll do it. And I walked out of there. I'm like, I texted in the group chat that night. I was like, just got a firm commitment from the best player in the nation coming on the podcast. And then I woke up the next morning. I was like, I got no contact info. I got no like follow up. I have nothing to do here.
We should follow him on Twitter. You must follow him on Twitter.
Follow him on Twitter. Come on.
Yeah, slide in his DMs. Be like,
Trace and White Boy Rick. These are the pillars of the Indiana University community. When you think of Hoosiers, that's the two guys you're thinking of.
You think of WBR and you think of Trace. What's his name? Trace Jackson Davis.
WBR and TJD.
That would be an unbelievable first guest on the pod.
Yeah.
Speaking of talking about moving the needle, he moves the needle. He moves the fucking needle.
Yeah. Great dude. But what do we got next? Is this ad read time? Mere, give me a nod if it's ad read time. Okay. Let's get into this one, folks.
Great new sponsor.
Me and Fab have had a very fun day on this old bird app. And that's why this podcast is brought to you by the Jersey Jerry Army. Potentially, and this is saying a lot. You guys know me. I love like getting into like Twitter beefs with like the weird corners of the internet. I've gone at the Swifties, Taylor Swift, who I thought were the craziest bunch I'd ever encountered until today.
You took down the Swifties.
Oh yeah, that's what's hilarious when like people try to come at me on Twitter. Like words on a computer screen mean absolutely nothing to me. Like I do not care. You're outside of like my boys on Twitter who like you know who you are, and that's a gender neutral term, my boys. Mm-hmm. Your words on an app are not going to affect me in the slightest. But yeah, this is just the most unhinged group I've ever encountered. And when I say group, it's like 5 people. So we know, huge fans of the pod. Thank you guys for supporting. Be sure to check out the Jersey Jerry Army. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so here's what happened. There was like a video of Jersey Jerry, who, I mean, if you're listening to this podcast, you know who it is, but it's a Barstool guy. He was at like a charity softball game and he like hit a home run, trotted the bases, whatever. And I like just posted a tweet, which I don't even think was like that mean or like,
no, I don't think it was
like
that
vitriol
bad
of a tweet. Like it was, I think if Jerry did see that tweet, I think he would laugh. But it was like this looks like something that came from the Make-A-Wish Foundation. And it wasn't like a knock against him. It was just like he was trotting the bases and had like a bunch of pro athletes dapping him up as he's trotting the bases. Like it was the vibe of the video. It was not a shot at Jerry.
No, and even if you look at it was very funny because they posted like the batting order, and I'm seeing like Miles Sanders and professional athletes, and then Jersey Jerry. Like it's objectively very funny, like, to see his name with a bunch of pro athletes.
This short chubby guy who like works for Barstool, and like I'm not a huge Jerry guy. I think the way he talks about women's, I think all guys who are into feet are weird, and he's a noted foot fetish guy. He's like power ranked like the women's feet before, I guess. So that's kind of my only beef with him. But like, I like him. Like I watch his content when he puts it out. He's not like, doesn't move the needle for me like the Yak Boys do, but like, he's a great utility player at Barstool. He's a great guy for people to riff off. Like I am not I'm not a Jerry guy, but I'm also not a Jerry hater.
See, I'm a Jerry guy. I would say I'm definitely a Jersey Jerry guy.
You had Jersey Jerry Army in your Twitter bio for a bit, if I'm not mistaken.
I did, yeah. No, around during Rough and Rowdy and leading up to Rough and Rowdy, I was full Jersey Jerry Army, which I wasn't even aware until today was like a big, or I guess not a big thing. There's like 5 of them, but a thing. Like still.
Yeah. So I got off this completely harmless tweet saying this looks like the Make-A-Wish Foundation, and I woke up this morning to at least 20 notifications from the same 3 to 4 people, just insults out the ass. We were getting flamed today. Like, telling them they were all saying they fucked my mom. There was a lot of fucking my mom. There was a lot of like calling me gay.
Well, they started as soon as they found the pod. Yeah,
I was just gonna get into that, and then they stumble upon the podcast, and poor Fab is out here getting harassed by this crew of fucking unhinged individuals. And his only crime is he hosts a podcast with the guy who made a joke about Jersey Jerry. Like that, just absurd. The whole thing was just absurd. Like I wish I cared about anything the way these 5 individuals care about Jersey Jerry. It's insane. They're still in my mentions now. We're going on 24 hours later. They're still tweeting this shit at me.
Yeah, as we record this, yeah. And I understand, like, if they're Jersey Jerry Army, like after you made the original tweet and they were frying you, whatever. But to wake up the next morning and still like, and then they proceeded to dig deeper into the lore of White Boy Rick. Oh my God. And then they found the podcast, and then they're like, oh, this dude hosts a podcast with the dude who made a joke about Jersey Jerry. Let's fry him too. Bro, when I got to work today and I checked my phone, I think I tweeted once today and I had 20 notifications.
Yeah, that's how I woke up this morning.
You see that and you haven't tweeted, I'm like, what's going on here? Like, what? And I'm seeing these fucking dudes that all have fucking Jersey Jerry in their name. Just hilarious. One of the funnest days I've had on Twitter.
The funniest aspect to me, well, there was a billion funny aspects, but one of the funniest aspects was a bunch of dudes who have like 200 followers who get like maybe 2 likes per tweet. They're like shitting on the podcast, saying nobody listens, you don't have followers, nobody gives a shit. Like, why don't we worry about you getting someone else to give a shit about what you have to say before you worry about people giving a shit about what I have to say? I'm not doing this podcast for viewers. I do it because I like shooting the shit with you guys. Just the lack of self-awareness, the lack of social intelligence, the lack of just anything that any normal functioning member of society possesses.
Yeah.
Just unbelievable.
My favorite part was the screenshot when they went. One of the dudes finally went.
I'm glad you brought that up because that was my favorite part too.
He goes, I caved and I finally went to go see what these dudes looked like. Post like I guess it was supposed to be an insult about me and then you, and then just ratioed the fuck out of them like over and over, outpouring love and respect for Rick and Fab. It was very.
A hate view is a view. Keep tuning in, fellas. We love y'all. Like, this is great content. I would prefer if you stopped like tweeting the same jokes over and over at me, but yeah, keep tuning in. And I was going to bring up this tweet as well, because this is my favorite part as well. Okay. It was a screenshot of both of us, and like objectively, we both looked incredible in this screenshot.
Really good.
He could not have picked a better screenshot for the boys. That's why I think he's a secret fan deep down. He goes, at Fab Mellow, looks like a mutt with an overgrown rat's nest on his head. buddy, may I introduce you to hair cuttery? You get your hair cut at a hair cuttery chain, not even like Sports Clips. You're recommending hair cuttery to people. I just know you have the worst buzz cut imaginable. And then he goes to me, he goes, at WB Rick, not much of an issue with you. Just looks like you haven't had much female experience, which one, lie. But two, the fact that this guy went in and was like specifically looking for something to insult about me and could not find anything. He just said, and then not much of an issue. I must be the hottest dude alive. Call People fucking Magazine because I am the hottest man on earth. If this dude cannot find a single beef with how I look, my hair looks great. What are we doing, man? You had nothing in the chamber?
I have never seen an attempted roast work so much in the opposite favor than it did on this one. He just stopped replying to that one. It was very, very funny. And then I'm just going to read through some of the replies. This resolution of these cameras are just pitiful. Broke Boy podcast. No shit. Dude. We just fucking started the podcast. We're using like our laptops and our fucking iPhones. And
I'm 9 episodes deep. I don't have a total grasp of the podcaster game. Groundbreaking stuff.
Dude, I wish I bookmarked some of these because I have so many notifications from these morons that I just can't find the ones I was looking for.
I'm looking for mine as well.
It's very funny. Like, I don't know if they realize that, like, we had I gained on my personal, like, 10 followers today. Our podcast account gained almost 10 followers today. Like, we had Rick and Fab No Ball had a great day today. We couldn't have done it without the Jersey Jerry Army. So, like, thank you guys. We love you. I know you guys are listening to this right now. We hope you guys continue to show the support. I put
videos up. Like, it was over 40 tweets from just one individual in the span of a day.
It's the same guy, yeah, just over and over the same shit.
Lucky Leonardo. All he thinks about is dick and balls in his mouth, talking about me. Your boyfriend is a bitch, talking about me. Thank God I don't either, because I've never had balls in my mouth. You waste your life on talking about balls in your mouth. Gross. He would love balls in his mouth. I would rather eat sand than listen to your podcast. They called me soy boy a lot. There was a lot of like pegging talk. A lot of very weird pegging talk.
Yeah. And
this brings me to my next point. Mir and Fab said I shouldn't bring this up. I might get canceled for it. I don't think this is a very cancelable discourse, but there was a very like subvertly gay undertone to everything they were saying. And I'm not saying that as like an insult, like, oh, he's gay. Like, just a statement of fact. There was some very gay undertones of what they were saying. Every single insult they had depended on balls being in my mouth, depended on pegging, depended like sexual at the bare minimum. But like, I just feel bad for these guys. There's very clearly some homophobia and some repressed gay thoughts going on there. They probably grew up in a small hick town and don't really know how to deal with their feelings, so they are dick ride for Jersey Jerry and shit on people all day, telling them to go get pegged. But just the amount of talk of pegging and balls in my mouth was just like, that's when I was like, okay, it's very obvious they're just
projecting.
Yeah, they have their own personal issues dealing with, their own thoughts about pegging and balls in their mouth going on. And once again, not an insult at all, like just a statement of fact. And like, I feel for them in that aspect. I grew up in a small hick town myself. I know what that, that group, that subgenre of people is like.
Oh, same here.
Very like weird sexual undertones going on with all their insults.
Yeah. I just wanted, I just think it's, like I've said this a million times, I just think it's fucking hilarious. We just gained six new views on everything. Like where this will have 6 more views than it did previously, because of the Jersey Jerry Army. So we appreciate you guys. Like you guys are blowing us up.
I am very much that Tyler the Creator tweet where he's like, "How the fuck is cyberbullying real? Just walk away." Like I'm the embodiment of that tweet. You could. Like,
I'm looking forward to everything that we get tomorrow. Like it's going to be so funny.
Words on a computer screen from people I don't know are never going to rattle me. Who gives a fuck? You're content to me. You are content for me to consume.
It's hilarious. It's just hilarious is all it is. And I cannot wait. I cannot wait to open up Twitter tomorrow morning.
I hope they watch this episode and hear this segment and have a response fired up about how I'm currently getting pegged during the recording of this episode.
Yeah.
I just wish they had more insults. I love going back and forth with people on Twitter. I very much fall guilty to getting into the weeds and chirping these reply guys back, but it's not fun if they're just completely uncreative about it.
Yeah, I stopped responding at a point because it's just the same. It's very repetitive. Just
the war with the Swifties was 10 times more entertaining because they had. I'll tell you, if there's any Swiftie super fans that run those stan accounts out there, tip of the cap to them. They went on for weeks at me. They were doing it in multiple language. They had creative insults. It was entertaining as fuck.
Yeah.
I don't. For those who don't know, I tweeted. I was it was something to do with Taylor Swift and her exes. I was the common denominator in all these problems is Taylor Swift. Maybe look in the mirror. And I for weeks these people came at me. I was
also get Mirror in here. I'm gonna take a piss real quick.
Okay, yeah. I was just gonna say I was also DMing with the Stooley Clubhouse. That's our guy, Stooley's Clubhouse. If you guys know. Apparently these guys have had their sights on him for a minute, and he was these guys are not going to stop. These are the most insane people I've ever encountered, and this is a Barstool account with 40,000 followers. So he's encountered some insane people on Twitter. He's they're coming at you for months. So get in your chair.
Want to be Minifans.
Get in your chair, buckle up, get comfortable, because we have not seen the last of the Jersey Jerry Army. So thank you guys. Appreciate the support. We love you.
Shout out JJ.
Maybe get some more insults, and this would be more fun. But yeah, keep it up, fellas. I am unflappable. I am as eternal and omnipresent as God himself. I'm not going anywhere. Rick and Fab, no ball ain't going anywhere. MereKat's not going anywhere. Do your fucking worst. Mere.
Hey.
Segue. How are you doing this evening? Thanks for joining us.
We're doing good. We're doing good. You guys, great. 45 minutes. I lay out the show plan earlier. You're like, oh, I said that's a lot of show we got. You're like, a lot? ? Calling me out. You guys just did 45 minutes on Myles Turner and Russell Westbrook.
You're the expert when it comes to this podcasting game. I'll be the first to admit it. And somehow we always end up talking for way too long on this podcast. I've been keeping an eye on the time as well.
Well, shout Jersey Jerry Army. They paid with their viewership for that nice long ad there. And live reporting in, I think Albert Pujols is moving on in the home run derby after hitting just 13 home runs. He tied Schwarber. Schwarber needed bonus time to tie him. And I don't know if they do it in overtime.
Schwarber only hit 13?
Yeah, Schwarber was at 10 before a minute of bonus time.
I was just going to ask you. I haven't been looking at the. No, Pujols is going back up.
Yeah, I think there might be some sort of overtime between these two right now. I don't know what the rules are.
Listen, Albert Pujols, I know he's a legend of the game or whatever. He got this legacy spot. Kyle Schwarber is an Indiana Hoosier. This is an IU product. If Kyle Schwarber
legend.
He's my favorite player. He's also a former Cub, so obviously my favorite player. Only dude I follow.
That's why I thought you liked him.
Baseball. Mm-hmm. No, Indiana University product. I got his jersey laying around somewhere. I think. Actually, no, a girl stole it from me. When you live in a frat house, your items are just always going to be stolen if they're in a common room. Girls take that shit as trophies, hoodies, jerseys, whatever. But yeah, if Kyle Schwarber gets boned, there is going to be hell to pay for the MLB and Rob Manfred, because not going to fly with this kid. Indiana backs Indiana.
My favorite thing about Pujols is it says he's 42, but it's been widely reported, accredited that he is at least 5 years older than that.
Really?
Oh yeah. When he first came into the league, he lied about his age very heavily. And the past few years, it's been proven he did.
Catching up.
Nobody knows his real age, but he is at least 46 years old.
So But was he lying intentionally, or does Albert Pujols not even know Albert Pujols' real name?
I don't know if it might have been like a thing where they're like, we're just going to burn the documents. And they're like, hey, you're 16. He's like, no, dude, I'm 20. They're like, no, you're 16. You're going to the baseball league. You're 16.
It's an I am 12 from the Benchwarmers situation.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, exactly. So Pujols, shout out to him. He's nearly 50 out there banging homers.
I'm seeing Pujols, like the whole crowd is cheering for him. So yeah, I don't think Schwarber's got the support of the people right now. This is fucked up.
Seems like we got a Jersey Jerry Make-A-Wish situation out here with Pujols in the All-Star game.
Hey now, they're gonna
whoa.
Brother, they're gonna come for you.
Yeah, they're gonna be up my ass now. We'll wake up tomorrow morning to 30. You get pegged by your sister.
Yeah. Like, no, they didn't even like specify that it was a female doing the pegging. It was just pegging.
No, I got
pegging,
one.
Pegging.
I got one that was just it wasn't even a reply. It was just a @FabMello HOF gets pegged by his sister. I think it said.
Yeah, okay. I got one of those that just said I was the product of incest. Which, hey, my uncle dad could beat up your dad any day of the week.
Oh man.
Pujols is moving on. That's so fucked. Kyle, you're better than that.
Yeah, he is.
Fuck. Oh my God, Pujols is now, or Schwarber is now bowing to Pujols after taking the L. The dick eating is crazy. Christ. They're hugging. Kyle.
We need Julio Rodriguez to end this, man.
Yeah.
We need the young blood to end the old man.
Did Juan Soto move on?
This is like when Kobe dropped 6. This is like when Kobe dropped 60 in his last game, and like the whole game plan was just pass Kobe the ball and cheer for him.
Right.
All right, so what we got?
Taking like 40 shots to get there. Whatever.
Yeah,
what's next?
Chopping it up with the boys, Rick. You want to chop it up for a bit?
I just need a platform to get my random thoughts that I have throughout the day out there.
We're here for you.
Yeah. One of those was the Skittles thing, but we already touched on that. I might be fucked.
Oh, that headline, by the way, Fab, was Washington Post, not like Business Insider or anything. The one about it being like bad.
Say Business Insider in the Mirror 3 times, and Dave Portnoy appears from out of nowhere to tell you he's been wrongfully accused.
Oh my God.
Okay, so I'm now looking at my list, and most of mine are Wow, my boy that's a Cardinals fan just texted, "Let's go, Albert." This guy went to Indiana with me. What a fucking scumbag.
That's crazy.
So most of my I'm realizing most of my takes are just about TV, which I'm a huge TV movie guy. I'm just an avid consumer of content. But regardless,
what have you been watching?
I just rewatched season 1 of Friday Night Lights, and I've seen the show multiple times, but I probably haven't seen it since like actually playing high school football in high school. What a delightful show. I like for network TV, Friday Night Lights kicks ass. Have you guys seen it?
I haven't seen it. Shut up.
Neither of you have seen Friday Night Lights?
It shouldn't surprise you that I haven't seen it.
Well, yeah, you haven't seen anything, you fucking bozo. But
I've never saw it.
I thought like Friday Night Lights was required viewing if you enjoy football.
I've like always wanted to watch it, but it feels like one of those things that's like better when you're like younger. I don't know.
Yeah, I thought the same thing, but I'm rewatching now with like an entirely different perspective, more like knowledge about, the technical aspects of like doing TV, whatever. It is held up better than I ever could hope for. It's an absolute delight.
Yeah.
The pilot episode, I feel dumb talking about it because you guys haven't seen it, but the pilot episode where Jason Street gets the injury is just all-time TV. Like within 20 minutes, you're invested in all the characters. You're rooting for them. The scenes, the like football scenes themselves, like I have some beef with the O-line, just like not really doing a whole lot in the football scenes, but the football scenes themselves hold up very, very well. It's some of the best like in TV sport action that we've seen. And I also just like, I tweeted this, but like, every TV show nowadays, like in 2022, like Succession, Better Call Saul, all those shows, like the main character is either an anti-hero or he's someone who's like morally ambiguous. Like it's kind of the trend ever since Breaking Bad is like, and The Sopranos before that is like a main character that's like, you root for them, but you're not like 100% invested, or like they have some drawbacks, some moral ambiguity, like I said.
Wait, can I pause right there? What
yeah.
What is morally ambiguous? What does that mean?
Dude, this podcast, Squid tweeted it at me. This podcast just is a place for me to flex my mastery of the English language, my vocabulary. But like questionable morals, like you root for them, but like they also make bad choices. Like there's
Walter White.
There's reasons to root against them as well as reasons to root for them. Like
gotcha.
they're not making the right decision at every point,
gotcha.
which is realistic. But like I'm watching Friday Night Lights and Coach Taylor and Mrs. Taylor and Jason Street and Matt Saracen, names that mean nothing to you all, but they're just good, kind people. They're good to everyone they meet. They're so easy to root for. It's just nice to have a show with like good people that are very easy to root for in our current
like the mom in The Blind Side.
Yeah.
Right? Well, there's some white savior undertones to The Blind Side that people have been getting off takes about recently. So I don't know if we can even put Sandra Bee in the same sentence as Coach Taylor.
Oh Lord, oh no.
But like Coach Taylor, he's the head coach of like obviously the team. Like just every single time he does a decent thing. Every single time, like he genuinely cares about his players. Just maybe the most easy to root for character.
I don't want that in
TV.
my coach.
Yeah, if you're an NFL coach, if you're a high school coach though, and your goal isn't purely just to win, it's also to develop these guys into good men. You do want that.
Fair.
Like there's a player that gets like popped for steroid use in like the first few episodes, and like he doesn't. Yeah. Oh, dude, it's insane. Within the first episode, they have like players doing TV interviews talking shit about other players. They got guys on steroids. They got guys fucking. A lot going on for high school football, but like his guy gets popped for steroid use, and like he doesn't report him to the state and ruin his whole career, but he like puts the guy to work, makes him like mop the locker room for a few weeks. No, you got to watch it. You haven't watched it.
Indentured servitude.
I'm not. No, that ain't. No, this segment is not about to turn into Coach Taylor slander because I will throw hands. Great portrayal.
I have a question. Is the movie different than the series? Because there's like a movie Friday Night Lights and a series. Is it like the same premise, same people?
No, it's the same premise being that it's about high school football, but the movie is much different. The show is very good, very easy to get invested in. It's back on Netflix. Y'all should check it out.
As much as I want to say that I'll check it out, I know for a fact there's a 0% chance.
I know I've told you to check out a million things. I'm like fucking shouting at a brick wall telling you to watch something good. But yeah, that's my Friday Night Lights. Aged well, very delightful.
So have you watched the new show on Hulu, Rick, The Bear?
No, that's on my list. I hear it's incredible.
Good show. I forget his name, but with Lip from Shameless,
right?
He crushes it. Good show. I'm on the finale right now. Yeah, he's finally got like a lead in a show. It's perfect for him. It's Chicago based. Very good show.
He's a good actor, actually.
Let me look up his name so we can give him a shout out. I think he's a Chicago guy as well.
I mean, his second show in Chicago. Yeah,
Jeremy Allen White.
Allen White, avid listener.
I think is he in the Jersey Jerry Army?
He might be.
I think he might be in I think he's a Jersey Jerry Army
guy.
He's actually the guy operating the one of the accounts.
Yeah. That's his burner. You got anything else in your mind, Rick? What else are we going to talk about?
Oh, yeah. I got a few things. The Skittles thing, obviously. We already talked about that. But I saw a promo tonight. Steph Curry is hosting the ESPYs. Is there a life you'd rather live than Steph Curry's life right now? Like, that guy is just on top of the fucking world. Everyone it's not like LeBron where he has significant haters. Everyone loves him. He's the best. He can shoot a basketball from the fucking parking lot and swish it. He's hosting the ESPYs. He's got a hot wife. Apparently like an open relationship type deal from what I hear. He's got three kids. Like that's just the ideal life. Like who would you rather be right now than Steph Curry? Not to mention he's rich beyond his wildest dreams, but I just had to get that off. Like Steph Curry is just living the dream across the board.
Yeah, starting with the championship, the MVP, like he's just going on like the whole tour right now. It seems like he's doing it all. Obviously, the bar's still open.
He's
you got to meet
golfer. He's an elite golfer too.
Yeah, he's disgusting at golf.
Really good.
Yeah, like I don't think there's anything that he is bad at. Like legitimately, I believe
that's really funny to me that I mentioned he's hosting the ESPYs and forgot to mention that he won an NBA Finals like a month ago.
Hosting an ESPYs is much greater of an honor.
And he's going to
shout out to Curry. That guy is literally just living the dream.
There's been a lot more people that have won NBA championships than have hosted the ESPYs. All I'm saying.
There's 14 on a roster. Point. There's only one ESPYs host.
Mm-hmm.
My next take. Are you guys Game of Thrones guys?
Yes, sir.
I think you know the answer to that.
Fuck you, dude. Game of Thrones was the pop culture epicenter for us for like years. That's absurd.
Hasn't seen anything other than Seinfeld in the first 4 seasons of Better Call Saul.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, I actually have one thing to say about Better Call Saul after this. The episode is currently airing, and I'm missing
no spoilers.
I'm missing it to talk to fucking Fab about TV that he's never seen. But regardless, Game of Thrones. I'm ready to make the leap. I'm ready to put the take out there. I'm ready to get hurt again. Like Michael Scott in The Office. No doubt about it. I'm ready to get hurt in. I saw a trailer promo today. I am all in on the Game of Thrones prequel series coming out. It looks incredible.
Mm-hmm. Oh, there's another one?
There's a
prequel.
I was going to explain the lore to you, but like you haven't seen the fucking
show.
But it's a prequel to it's about the Targaryen family and when they were kind of in their heyday, I guess. It's called The House of the Dragon.
The Dragon people.
I saw like a promo today. It had the director talking, the showrunner, the producer, all those guys, George R.R. Martin, the certified woke. I've been very on the fence to like get invested in Game of Thrones content again. That last season was so bad. It obliterated a show, which I said earlier was the complete epicenter of our pop culture for years, and now nobody talks about it anymore. That's how bad that last season was, but I'm ready to talk about it again. I'm ready to get invested. I have high hopes for this show, officially.
So they're coming out with a whole show that's a prequel to Game of Thrones?
Right.
Yeah. I mean, there's so much lore. They could come out with like 10 shows that branch off of Game of Thrones that all make sense and work.
I mean, it's Game of Thrones is from what I've gathered. There's a lot of incest. A lot of dragons.
There's not a lot of incest, but there is an incestuous relationship at the heart of the plot.
Compared to most other shows, there's a lot.
Actually. Twincest.
There's a lot of boobs, is there not? That's what I'm pretty sure I've heard that.
Great boobs.
Okay. That's a good selling point.
A lot of PPs as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah, for those that are interested.
You do see some male dick and ass. Who's the chick that plays Daenerys? I'm blanking on the name.
Emilia Clarke.
Emilia Clarke, season 1 and 2, maybe the hottest woman that's ever existed.
And they started CGIing her because she was dating what's his face, Seth MacFarlane, and he was pissed. Yeah,
she was dating the Family Guy.
Let me fact check this real quick. But she was dating Seth MacFarlane, and he got pissed that she was like naked on TV, showing her boobs everywhere, and so they CGI'd her everything after season 2. Yep. Seth MacFarlane and Emilia Clarke.
That's actually hilarious. That's very funny.
Incredible. Talk about shooting out of your league.
Fucking Seth MacFarlane, the Family Guy fella.
Right?
The Family Guy fella. Has he done anything other than Family Guy? He's Ted.
I know that.
Robot Chicken,
The
maybe?
Oracle is actually a decent show. It stars him. He's a writer, producer. It's a very, like, not talked about network TV show, but it's decent. He did like that movie, A Million Ways to Die in the West, which is just one of the worst movies you've ever seen in your life. Fab, I know I don't have to tell you this, but don't watch it.
Gotcha. Noted.
Hellboy. Great movie.
I'm realizing all my Rick's random thoughts are just thoughts about TV that I've watched recently. So
I have a thought about TV that
we'll
might
have some better
seen.
ones for that recently. Fab, floor is yours.
What about the rehearsal? I know Rick's seen episode 1.
Oh my God, we should do like a weekly segment for the rehearsal because it's going to be coming out weekly.
That's something I'm going to watch. Like I'm definitely going to watch that.
Did I put you onto Nathan for you?
Oh, that's Nathan Fielder's new show. Yeah.
Yeah.
Unbelievably funny.
So
Unbelievably funny. I've said it since the show was announced. You give Nathan Fielder an HBO budget, and the content coming out of it is going to be absolutely incredible. And the first episode lived up to the hype and then some. It was the hardest I've laughed at a screen in a minute.
I'm gonna watch it after this.
Oh my God, dude, you got to check it out.
Yeah, I didn't know it was out yet.
We should make the rehearsal discussions a weekly discussion because it is tremendous content.
It checks like all the boxes that Nathan For You checked, but it's like you said with the HBO budget and the show. I think it's what is it 45 minutes or something? It's a little bit longer. Like it's
you got to like rebuild people's like houses in a warehouse
so funny.
somewhere.
The first headline I see about the rehearsal is the most uncomfortable show ever made.
Yeah.
I can't wait to watch this.
Yeah, that's the thing about Nathan Fielder content is it's gonna make you laugh your ass off, but it's like there's gonna be points where you're cringing so hard that like you can't look, but you're still laughing because of how funny it is.
He's so good, man.
I rewatched the fucking Claw of Shame episode of Nathan For You last night. Fucking
all time.
We've all seen escape artists risk death. Tonight, I'm going to be risking something even worse: becoming a registered sex offender for life.
That goes
how does this guy
like
keep a straight
year.
face in those scenarios? How does he keep a straight face? That's the most impressive thing for him.
I remember watching it too, because Fad told me about it a couple months ago when I first started watching it. I think the second episode is when they like stage the pig rescuing the kitten or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
and
Door City over here.
But
you'll get that reference.
I'll get it in like an hour. Yeah. But they show it going super viral. They're like, yeah, they even talked about it on Ellen. So I went on Twitter, typed in Ellen's @ and then like typed in pig saving, and the tweet is still up with Ellen like sharing this story about the like fake Nathan Fielder video, like all serious. I just thought that was just great. It was still there.
The real talent of Nathan Fielder, like he is obviously an inherently very funny guy in himself, and I think he's like one of the most talented people alive right now. But his real like ability and special ability and what makes him so funny is he like highlights and brings out just how absurd other people are, like just the average person.
Yeah, no, 100%. But one thing that's very interesting about him is I've looked everywhere for like interviews with him maybe where he's being like himself. But is this just like who he is? Like I don't understand. Like I've never seen
a big like aspect of Nathan For You is how he like can't talk to chicks and like needs a chick. He's married. He's the real Nathan apparently is like a very normal like
because that's what I've been trying to find like examples or interviews where he's just like being himself and he's not like being this awkward character or whatever. But there's really nothing like out there of him being normal.
No, he was he was normal enough to get married. So like.
Yeah, I mean,
there's got to be a break to the character at some point, but yeah, HBO, you need to give more HBO budgets to weird brains like Nathan Fielder, and I know
100%.
the executives are tuned in right now, so do it.
Mm-hmm.
Phenomenal. Thank you for bringing that up, Fab. We definitely need to get into that. Like, I would love to talk about it weekly.
100%. Yeah.
And then my last take. Oh, Mere, go ahead.
No, go.
Okay. Last one, another TV take. Mere's getting stressed out that we're already over an hour. I know that's what his comment was. But I saw the like head TV critic for Rolling Stone. This is about Better Call Saul. He said tonight's episode, which again I'm currently missing to do this podcast. No need to thank me for my service. He said tonight's episode is so good that you either need to watch it immediately or you need to stay off the internet entirely to avoid spoilers. Which, like, I think comfortably if Better Call Saul sticks this landing, which I have no doubt that they will in this second half of the last season, I think it could comfortably become the greatest show of all time to me. This is like, we've never seen television at this level, not even in Breaking Bad.
It's
so
crazy.
excited.
It's better than Breaking Bad.
All of these characters, like most of them, we know exactly how they're going to turn out because we saw them in the show. But even like the characters that aren't in Breaking Bad, we know they're either going to die or something's going to happen where they're not in Breaking Bad. Like we know 90% of the show's like ending where all the characters are going to go out. And the fact that they still have made this like such great television, and like I'm so invested in it and wondering what's going to happen when I already know mostly what's going to happen. Just a true testament to everybody involved in that show, and like just unbelievable content. Probably the best prequel we've seen for anything ever, comfortably.
Yeah, and I haven't seen any of the new season, like I've said, but I
literally sent Fab like a link to an illegal streaming site where I was like, go watch it now, and he still, folks, he still has not watched shit. Like,
I think I mentioned.
What do you do with your time, Fab? Like, all I want to do is like watch TV and movies. Like, what do you watch? What like content do you consume if you're not watching TV?
I watch these same shows over and over and over.
Yeah. Oh, Curb and Seinfeld, right?
I watch Curb. I watch Seinfeld. I watch Nathan For You. I watch the Eric Andre Show. I watch Rick and Morty. I watch The Rehearsal.
You watch the 2-hour unreleased Juice WRLD mix.
Correct. Yeah. Like
I'm just gonna hang my hat on the fact that I got Fab into one singular show.
That's impressive, bro, because I don't watch anything.
Yeah. And that's a testament to how talented Nathan Fielder is.
It really is, if you haven't seen it.
If we do a starting 5 of like TV show characters or something, Fab is going to be at a serious disadvantage. He's won the first 2 drafts. We need to take him down.
It's going to be Larry David, Jerry Seinfeld, whoever Julia Louis-Dreyfus,
Cosmo Kramer,
Jason Alexander. Yeah,
it's literally going to be the big 5 from Seinfeld. But speaking of the drafts, real quick before we move on, 2-0 so far in the drafts. Listen, it's not. I'm not going to call it a legacy yet because two championships is not a legacy. But people are asking if I can turn this into a legacy. I mean, one more win and I'm knocking at the door. So we'll see what happens. We don't have a draft today.
We also got some shit today for doing drafts. Not only from the Jersey Jerry Army, but from our boy Asher.
Oh yeah, and that's also something. That's something I don't understand.
I didn't see that.
Well, do they not realize that not only are we drafting, but we also have to put them into a position in our starting 5? That's interesting, right?
I've never.
I would work around this.
I would love for someone to show me a show where people draft like starting 5s, because people like, if we're like, obviously it has to be a snake draft, like snake draft. Oh, we've never seen that before. It's like we're like making like a starting 5. Like we're doing a point guard, shooting guard, small forward. Like where if you actually listen, like it's anybody who is complaining about that obviously has never listened to the show, because
we're not making up like bullshit where we're just saying 5 random things that fit and throw in the positions. We're like trying to fill each position and build.
And we're not even doing a draft tonight because we didn't have an idea that would be good enough content for you all. We're not just drafting for the sake of drafting. We're doing this for the people. People like to hear drafts.
Anybody who's bitching about the content, it's much less characters if you just type in, I have never listened to this podcast. It's much easier to just type that out than to complain about the snake draft.
Right.
1000%.
All right. What do we have left, Mir? Is it just the NFL win totals?
Yep. We're gonna
talk.
I'm
gonna get in some ball talk.
Folks, we might have branded ourselves as an NBA podcast, but we know every single kind of ball, including, according to the Jersey Jerry Army, balls in our mouth. But let's talk some football. Let's talk some win totals. We're going to be giving some predictions, a little just breakdown of what we can expect from these teams coming into this next season. I've done zero prep for this. I wanted to go in very raw and just kind of like be surprised by what teams' win totals are at and give my, immediate breakdown takes. So I'm excited for this. Some teams will probably fly through. Some teams will need a little more discussion, but I'm excited for this.
I'm excited for two things here. I'm excited for one to wake up tomorrow and see what the Jersey Jerry Army has to say, and two, I'm excited for people freaking out because we said their team was going to win under their win total tomorrow. I'm sure people will react very what's the word I'm looking for? Very reasonably to our
normally.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. What do we got? What do we got here?
I'm gonna take a leak real quick.
All right, yeah, we'll talk.
We got live breaking news.
Go ahead and introduce. You guys take the lead here.
All right. Well, we got breaking news. It's looking like Julio Rodriguez has dethroned Pete Alonso. Rodriguez hasn't won it yet, but he just beat Alonso in their head-to-head matchup. So I think it's like a bracket, and yeah, he just crushed Alonso.
Do we know who's left? Is it just those two, or is
no? So now Rodriguez is in the finals, I believe, and then he'll face the winner of Soto and who's Soto facing? I don't. Oh, is it Pujols? It might be Pujols.
It's probably. Pujols.
I think it's Soto Pujols winner. Because Soto beat Acuna. Is that right? I don't know. Acuna got out, which stinks. I like Acuna. I think he's out. I haven't really been paying attention because we've been doing the show, but we'll get into the first win total. Rick's over here wandering around. These are randomized, folks. By randomized, I mean they were on a list by highest to lowest, and that's how I typed them in. And then I'm like, that's boring, so I mixed them all up, so they're kind of randomized. First one we got: San Francisco 49ers over under 10. I thought this was a high one. Rick, you're here for the first one. We got the Niners over under 10, first one.
So should we do an order? Like we'll do Rick, me, and then Mir. We'll just say
let's riff.
Yeah. You want to riff on the floor?
Okay. Let's keep this freeform. This is what makes this podcast great. Have you guys given your thoughts yet?
No. But I have thoughts.
Go ahead.
My original thought was under. Like immediately I was like under. I think they'll probably win 9 games. I think I just don't, with all the Debo drama, like we don't know the quarterback question mark. Are we going to see Jimmy G? I don't know. I like the 49ers too, but I feel like they've been good, and this is going to be kind of like a reset year for them where they just won't be as good as we've seen them.
Yeah, I'm going under. You're going to see quarterback transition at some point. I think you're going to see Trey Lance come in for Jimmy G like midseason. I like Trey Lance a lot. The quarterback transition midseason, your number one playmaker, not just receiver, overall offensive player, might not be on your team, and he doesn't want to be on your team if he is. So I'm going under.
Yeah, I'm going to lean under, but I'm also going to call my shot here and say it's going to get a push. I think they're going to go 10-7 exactly. I'm not current Trey Lance. I'm not a huge believer in, but I do think he has a lot of potential. I'm obviously a huge believer in Kyle Shanahan. I think everyone is at this point. I think he's a good enough coach to drag him to that above 500 mark. And I mean, it's a well-constructed team like you guys touched on. I think that quarterback situation isn't exactly, like ready to win now.
Yeah.
But,
I agree.
Listen, these San Francisco 49ers, this is a team that knocked Aaron Rodgers out of the playoffs, so they have my utmost respect, my utmost admiration for perpetuity. So they also did it during the Kaepernick era and knocked Aaron Rodgers out of the playoffs. So I've always had a soft spot for the Niners.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say push. I'm going to call my shot here. They're going to go 10-7 exactly.
I like that.
All right. Next up, we got our boy, the man behind the intro song. We all love him, Sweet Tea Poppy's Washington Commanders over under 8.
I want to slam over just because I love Sweet Tea Poppy so much, and he is he's the only fan of Washington that I know, like, period. He's the only exposure to Commanders discourse that I have, but so that's probably swaying me. But I think Carson Wentz is, whatever your thoughts on him, he's better than 8 wins. I think they have Terry McLaurin there. I think they have J.D. McKissick, right?
Jahan Dotson was a great draft by them. Logan Thomas healthy. The offense could be good.
Sneaky, like one of the best pass rushes in the NFL. Obviously, they have Chase Young. They got Montez Sweat. They got like not only elite pass rushers, but a lot of height on that front seven where like you're just going to make it difficult for quarterbacks. We saw a lot of it last year, and I think the guys up there are all young and only going to get better. I think we're going to be – I'm slamming the over. I think, maybe Carson Wentz isn't the guy that we think he is, but I do think this defense is good enough to drag them to a few wins.
Yeah, Jamin, however you say it, Davis, their first-round pick last year, takes a step and helps lead that front seven a bit because they need some stability to get the most out of it. And if Wentz can be anything like his former self, like 50% with some of the weapons he has, he'll be just fine.
So you guys are both going over?
Yeah, and I also can't say under because I love Sweet Tea.
Yeah, see, that's where I'm at too. But I can't wait until Sweet Tea watches this back. He's going to be live tweeting and he's going to be motherfucking me. I'm going to have to go under just because I have no faith in Carson Wentz. I think the Commanders as a team, the entire skeleton of that team is an 8 or more win team, but I just have no faith in Carson Wentz. I think it might get ugly with him. I don't know who do they have behind Carson Wentz. Oh, they took Sam Howell, didn't they?
Yeah, and they have Kyle Allen, right? Still.
Yeah, so I think we're probably going to end up seeing one of those two guys. I don't know.
Do they still have Heineke there as well?
Oh yeah, Heineke.
Oh, they do have Heineke. So I think we're going to see one of those guys. I just don't think Carson Wentz is able to do.
You don't think he's that guy, pal?
I think he's far from that guy. Unfortunately,
he's not him. He does not have that dog in him. You're going on the record.
Right. However, I would love to be wrong because I hate the NFC East. But I do like the Commanders. I'm rooting for the Commanders in the NFC East. I hate all the other 3 teams. So I would love to be wrong about this one, but I think they're going to end up finishing 3rd or last in that division.
That's a fair take.
All right. Next up, we got the Chiefs 10.5. I think it's the second highest or third highest win total of all of these. It's hard not to take the over, but that offense has been gutted because of, cap things. Patrick Mahomes' contract being not great, the defense being not structured great. I think we could see Chiefs regression, but I don't see Patrick Mahomes not getting them 11 wins.
I have to agree with Mere. I agree. I think they're going to go over. I think a lot of people are thinking that Tyreek Hill needed Mahomes more than Mahomes needed Tyreek. Did I say that right, or did I say it backwards? I think people are overrating the loss of Tyreek Hill. I don't think. It's going to hurt them, but I don't think it's going to hurt them that much. I think they were able to figure out a lot last year after that skid. So I think they'll definitely be over 10.5 wins.
Yeah. I hate to go with the wave here, but I'm also taking the over. I think the Tyreek Hill signing is going to affect people more than we think. We really have never seen. We've never seen Patrick Mahomes without Tyreek Hill, and obviously that guy draws a ton of attention from defenses. But I like the Smith-Schuster and Valdez-Scantling from the Packers signings to kind of shore that up. Obviously, they lost the Honey Badger too, which is going to hurt. But
Sky Moore was a good pick.
Yeah, Sky Moore too. Yeah, they've never been a team that's relying on defense regardless. And I think they did a good job shoring up their offseason to kind of replace that Tyreek Hill signing. And at this point, last offseason, this is where everyone was waiting for, the Chiefs to kind of fall off. And a lot of people were predicting kind of a comeback to earth season for Mahomes, and defense is kind of figuring him out. For those listening, I'm putting air quotes around that because there's only a certain degree to which you can figure out Patrick Mahomes. But I think this is going to be the opposite, where everyone's kind of expecting them to maybe not be as good, and they come off as elite as they ever have been. Yeah.
And also, if there's one player that isn't a Buffalo Bill I'm rooting for this year, it's going to be Justin Ross. I'm so high on Justin Ross. I love that man.
Oh, so, I forgot they drafted him late, dude. Yeah,
I think they got him undrafted. If he's healthy,
He was
fucking
and
freak.
it is kind of a situation where you're not like you're concerned about like the players like their life and their future and their like health. Like this like spinal injury he had apparently could really like fuck him up. So you're rooting for
Michael
him to
Porter
succeed
Jr.
in a
breaks his
football
back
set.
every other week.
What'd you say?
I said Michael Porter Jr. breaks his back every other week and got it back.
Well, I mean, he might be getting it back, but he's certainly not playing a whole lot of basketball. But yeah, it's a situation where you're not only rooting for success on the field, but like you're rooting for him off the field, in my opinion. So I would love to see 100%. That sign pan out.
All right. Next, we got Minnesota Vikings over under 9.
Under.
I don't have much thoughts on this. Yeah,
under.
I think that we see big Kirk Cousins regression. He was pretty good last year, but love Justin Jefferson. Like Dalvin Cook when he's healthy. Under.
Yeah. I think bringing in the guy that was responsible for, or at least somewhat responsible for the Rams offense is a good move. I think Justin Jefferson is gonna put up numbies. Playing for the guy that drew up plays for Cooper Kupp, but I am probably the least Kirk Cousins guy in the world. I'm a big Kirk Cousins hater. I think he's a fraud. I think maybe it's just because he never plays well against the Bears, but I'm just not a Kirk Cousins guy at all. So I'm slamming the under here. That guy's not winning you football games.
Nope.
Yeah,
agreed.
Sorry to fuck Cy, but
yeah, I was gonna say fuck Cy and the Minnesota crew that we know from Twitter. Love you guys. I'm feeling a Kirk Cousins kind of regression year here, and I know obviously the AFC East and the NFC North are playing this year, so obviously they got the Bills, Pats, Jets, Dolphins. That's not an easy out of conference schedule there. I don't have any faith in Dalvin Cook to stay healthy. I think Justin Jefferson will do his thing, but I think it'll be a little bit of regression for the Vikings here. Start of a rebuild, perhaps.
Kellen Mond time maybe this year. I don't know. I like Kellen Mond. But next up, we got the Cowboys. I'm not going to hit much on the Cowboys. I'm just going to go under. I don't like Dak Prescott. Michael Gallup might not be ready to start the season now, so they're rolling into the season with CeeDee Lamb and Jalen Tolbert as their 1-2. I like CeeDee, but not great.
I'm actually I put, if you're watching on YouTube, I have 2 thumbs down at the Cowboys, but I actually probably am going to take the over here just because I think the Cowboys are one of those teams that will they're built for the regular season, and then they're just going to lose probably the first round like they always do, or the second round, whatever. Pick your poison. I'm assuming Dak stays healthy. I mean, I feel like that team is just made of guys that love to get hurt. I don't know what's going on with Zeke. Feel like he needs to get out of there. I feel like it's going to end ugly for the Cowboys this year after a good regular season. Like, I feel like they might win like 12 games and then they're going to lose in tragic fashion, like the Cowboys love to do.
Yeah. I'm going to take the under here. The Cowboys have always, to me, been a roster with just a shit ton of talent, but not very well constructed, like a bunch of talent that doesn't really mesh well together or isn't really built well for whatever reason. I root for Dak Prescott. Seems like a good dude. You had the strongest wide receiver group in football, and you responded to that by trading away Amari. I think that's going to hurt more than people realize, despite how talented CeeDee is. And I just think that defense doesn't have a whole ton of chemistry. Like I said, there's a ton of talent.
But Trayvon Diggs, though, he gets so many interceptions.
Sucks.
He gets so many interceptions.
He'll give up 4 tutties, but he'll pick one off for you along the way.
But the interceptions.
A ton of talented guys, but not a whole lot of like chemistry or good roster construction on that side of the ball. And I had one more point. The O-line has fallen off a cliff. Like, they've been coasting off their 2015 reputation since forever. And this is just not really even an above average line anymore. You guys know me, former second team all county left tackle. The O-line is what I put the most stake in. Not loving their O-line anymore.
Love PG though. We love you, PG.
Yeah, we love
Drew
PG.
Raccoon. We love you guys.
We
but
do.
I cannot love the Cowboys. I just can't. I really can't. But I did take the over though. So you got to.
I hope Dak stays healthy. I do root for the guy. He seems like a good dude.
Yeah.
And Except when he got knocked
maybe it's
out
just
on
me,
spring
but
break.
I don't like
Maybe
that.
it's just me, but like I always root for the late round guys to succeed. We all love a good underdog story.
Yeah. All right.
I hate
Next
that.
up, we got an exciting one. I've given a few unders in a row. I'm gonna go with an over here. I've loved everything the Broncos have built on offense the past few years. I like Javonte Williams a lot. I maybe like the most underrated receiving core in the NFL overall.
Oh yeah.
Good offensive line. Now you have a quarterback. I think the Broncos might be able to eat.
Who's their? I'm blanking on a name right now. Who's their wide receiver core? I had one guy I carried through all of fantasy who was like very underrated for me. I know they got
Judy, Cortland Sutton,
KJ Hamler,
yeah.
Noah Fant, Tim Patrick has been incredible.
Tim Patrick, that was my guy.
Patrick's the most underrated like fantasy receiver ever.
Oh
He's had like 3 straight seasons of like
that
700 yards.
That was my flex.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm going to agree with you, Muir. I'm slamming the over as well. I think they kind of did exactly the roster construction. That's like the formula to winning in the NFL nowadays. You build up the defense, you build up the O-line and the running game, and then you just hope at some point you can slot in an elite quarterback in with that mix. And that's exactly what they've done. I've loved their defense. Like you said, one of the most underrated wide receiver cores. Did you say that, Muir, or am I saying that?
I said that.
Okay.
But you can also say it. It's not
I want to make sure you get credit for your takes, brother. Judy had like a drops problem this year, but I mean, I think that could solve this. Guy was the most talented wide receiver in college football at Bama. I'm slamming the over as well. It's not a hot take in the slightest, but I love how they built their roster, and I love how they slot in a Super Bowl quarterback right into that roster. Russell Wilson is going to be the determinant of how far they go, but I do think they go far.
Yeah. I'm gonna kind of disagree here for a couple of reasons. One, I don't have a ton of faith in Russell Wilson. Maybe that's because I hate him, and that's just my bias.
Maybe,
but I'm also thinking about how stacked that division is. You're talking about 6 games against the Chargers.
Has Russell Wilson ever had any like significant games against the Patriots where you might like hate him?
Well, he won us a Super Bowl, so I should love him.
He threw a pick on the goal line for you.
Yeah.
I was thinking they beat you guys. My bad.
No, I don't hate Russell Wilson for anything. Obviously, I should love him because he won us a Super Bowl, like I said. But I just hate him for who he is.
He's just a bot. He's a bot of a person.
Yeah,
I don't think he has a real personality in the slightest.
Like the dictionary definition of a cornball is Russell Wilson, along with probably J.J. Watt. But I think 6 games against, like I said, the Raiders, the Chiefs, and the Chargers, who I'm very high on all 3 of those teams. That division is fucking insane. I think probably if I had to pick, I'd probably say they'll probably win 10 games, but I lean towards the under just because I feel like Russell Wilson's more of a question mark. But he'll probably come out and fucking win the MVP. And
yeah, true. Going off your earlier point, like if you were like a corporation or like corporate America and you wanted to hop in a lab and like create the least problematic, like always says the right thing, like just robot of a person, Russell Wilson is what you spit out. And it's become so over the top for me that I actively dislike him because of how
he's Wonder Bread,
non-human he is.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah. All right. So we got to blast through some of these teams, but we're going to let Rick eat his heart out here. Bears over under 6.5.
Yeah. Give me, where's the spotlight at? Let's train it on me. Yeah. I don't, Mir's got his ring light pointed at me. I know I'm being a homer, but I genuinely don't even think this is a homer pick. Like, this is my favorite over of the entire bunch. This is an over you should be slamming from now until the cows come home, because we got to 6 wins with the most dysfunctional, other than Urban Meyer, the most dysfunctional coaching situation, a coach who had no idea what he's doing, a GM that was a dead man walking. Like, we got in a very tough schedule as well. Like, our schedule is much easier this year compared to last year. We still got to 6 wins despite being like one of the most, if not the most, dysfunctional franchises in football. And you add on to that, Justin Fields is going to be taking a leap forward. Fingers crossed, hopefully. I mean, I know he is, but like maybe people disagree. But Justin Fields is taking a leap. new regime that's really like invigorated the franchise. New OC that's going to be hopefully drawing up an offense that's more suited to Fields' strengths, which Matt Nagy was just the certified woat at doing. Matt Nagy had no interest in helping Justin Fields succeed. A very young roster full of guys who are going to take the next leap. You talk about Darnell Mooney as the wide receiver 1. You talk about, Jalen Johnson on defense. Like, very young roster full of guys that are going to take the next leap. But my thing is just this is my only detractor for this take. We got to 6 wins with Matt fucking Nagy, the bald-headed fuck, as our head coach. And you're telling me we can't get to 7 with a much easier schedule and an entirely different regime? I don't believe that. So, yeah, long story short, I'm slamming this over.
Yeah, I
would love to hear your thoughts on this, folks.
Go ahead, Mere.
I like Justin Fields a lot. Loved him coming out, even though I hate Ohio State and I don't like the Bears. Sorry, Rick, but love Justin Fields. I'm rooting.
Oh, you're a Bills fan. What?
I don't know. Just this notion from when I'm younger. I don't like Chicago sports. I don't know why.
I can tolerate indifference, but actively disliking us makes no sense to me. Especially when I've said I'm rooting for the Bills to succeed.
I think part of me doesn't like Chicago sports because you guys stole Patty Kane from the heart of Buffalo. Not that
I don't even know
from us
enough to comment on that. So
Patrick Kane, just Buffalo guy through and through, loved him to death, and he brought many successes.
Yeah, fuck Chicago sports. We only won a Buffalo guy 3 rings and are gonna hang his jersey in the rafters. Yeah, we haven't treated Pat Kane well at all.
But I love Justin Fields. I like your offense. I like what the Bears are doing. 6.5 is a disrespectful number. They get 7 to 10 wins pretty easily.
Okay, you're redeeming yourself a little bit here. That was uncalled for, though.
I put their floor at like 7, their floor.
Patrick Kane should have stayed with the Buffalo Sabres and just won nothing for the rest of his life, and Muir would be happy. We only won the guy 3 rings. Sorry.
He would have won with here if we had him, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so my take on the Bears. I actually just went through the Bears' schedule. I didn't do that for any other teams. I just wanted to take a peek ski. My prediction is I don't think the Bears are going to be within 2 games of 6.5 on either side. I think they're either going to win like 3 games or they're going to win like 9.
I don't think we're favored. I think we're favored in like 2 or 3, like a preposterously low number. Vegas has us favored in.
Yeah, because just a lot of these games I'm seeing as toss-ups. I feel like you think you could split the Packers this year?
I mean, shit, brother. I sure as hell hope so. But I mean, history tells me I'm gonna be disappointed once again in that aspect.
Because I see the Patriots on there, and like obviously I can't count that as a win for you, but like that's also a toss-up. That's a primetime game. Like I'll go with the over. I'll take faith in Justin Fields taking that next step. I'll go with the over here. I think the Bears. I think they'll win 8 games. How's that sound?
Here's my plight as a Bears fan. You bring up, can you guys like maybe split the season series with the Packers? If the Chicago Bears go 1-17 this year, and that win is against Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers, that's a win of a season for me.
Fair.
That's I never get to see that happen. If a season ends with us beating the Packers at some point along the way, I'm good.
That's fair.
That's
fair. So we're all over though, right?
No other rival period invokes that sort of hate for me. But like, I there's nothing I love more on the planet than seeing the Bears beat the Packers.
Mm-hmm. Gotta love it. But all right, we'll move on. We got to fly through some of these because we're pacing. We're good. We can go off on our own teams. That's fine. We're pacing for like a 2.5 hour show right now. Let's try to keep it to like 2.
How many teams have we been through?
Like 6, maybe. Not
even
5.
Let's keep this under 2 hours.
We've been doing this for like 25 minutes, and we're through 5 teams. We're trying to,
Okay, yeah. These next few teams, if it's not one of our teams, let's just like over under in like 1 sentence.
Yeah, we're good for a bit before Fab is up, and then somewhere. All right, okay. Next up, we got Chargers over under 10. I mean, you're getting Khalil Mack now on that defense with Joey Bosa, Buffalo, and Chicago guy kind of there with Khalil Mack.
JC Jackson.
J.C. Jackson. Offense, Justin Herbert, obviously a stud. Keenan Allen, Mike Williams. I like the Gerald Everett addition. Offensive line seems okay. I like the over.
Yeah.
Over.
Oh, I'll set the tone here. Over. Love Justin Herbert. Love all the offseason moves they made. Another team that has a ton of young talent ready to make the next step. Big believer in the Chargers and especially Herbert at the center there. I'm slamming the over.
11-6 for the Chargers is my prediction.
11-6. Love it.
Over.
Here we go. Pittsburgh Steelers over under 7 here. Low number. I'm taking the under. I love Mitchy Biscuits, but there's going to be quarterback controversy. I love Mitchy Biscuits. I hate Kenny Pickett.
That's unfair of me to say. That's unfair of me to say. Mitch Trubisky is just a great dude. He's a great guy. I've always said, I mean, nobody knows the Mitch Trubisky experience like me. I spent 4 years of my life defending this guy to the grave, and he just never panned out. He's everything you want in a franchise quarterback until he steps in between the sidelines. So, no, I'm not a believer in Mitch, and under. If Mitch Trubisky is your quarterback, that's not a winning formula. Straight up.
Yeah, I'm sorry to the Jersey Jerry Army, but yeah, we'll be taking the under.
Oh
on the
my
Steelers.
God, they're gonna come at us for this somehow.
I think it might be. It might get a little ugly for the Steelers this year. That's just my prediction. I think. Yeah,
Mitch is a very nice guy. Nice guy.
I think they'll be last.
Very
in the
nice
AFC
guy,
North, I believe. Yeah, good guy. Kenny Pickett, good guy. Sure, I saw him play live in the ACC championship. Good player, but
I don't think he played in the ACC championship. No, he didn't play in their bowl game. Okay, continue.
Yeah, it was a bowl game. Yeah, ugly season for the Steelers. Is what I'm predicting. Under.
Under for the Steelers. Talking about ugly, we got the New York Jets up next. Woo. 5.5. I think this might be the lowest in the NFL. I'm going to take the under. I think the Jets have a ton of potential. They made a lot of good moves, and I kind of like Zach Wilson, other than the fact he bangs mills, so it just makes me like him more. But as a player, I think he's got a lot of potential. Don't love the coaching staff. I'm going to go under because they're not going to beat the Bills or Patriots or Dolphins, twice each. No chance. They're going to get crushed in the division.
So I'm finally going to fucking disagree with someone else on these takes. I'm going to go strong over here. I'm a bigger Zach Wilson fan than most. I think he's got just a ton of arm talent ready to get put together if he can do it. And you said you weren't a believer in the coaching staff. I love Robert Saleh. Am I pronouncing
Saleh,
right?
I think.
Salah.
Yeah, I love the coaching staff. I in firm disagreement there. I think that not only do they have a good staff, they have a ton of talent there. I'm taking the over.
I think I said this last pod. I have been fully incepted by Jets Twitter. I'm deep in Jets Twitter. Just everything is Jets on my timeline. I'm going to take the over just because I've been fully brainwashed by Jets Twitter members. I think they're going to win probably 6 games, and I think honestly, I think they're probably going to beat the Patriots once. Sadly,
I'll stand on the Underhill. I like Zach Wilson. I like the pieces. I just think there's going to be some dysfunction. I don't know Zach's going to put together a situation, but we got up next.
And that's a team where like they've been so bad for so long. You're just like rooting for them to succeed at a certain point.
Not us. Not us.
Not
us.
Guys,
I'll take the two
you
free
want a
wins.
free 2 wins every year.
I hate the Jets. Nothing would make me happier than the Jets going 0-17 this year. But I just Jets Twitter has really got me.
I don't want to linger, but like, why do you root against the Jets? It's not a franchise that has like ever given you problems.
Yeah, they have.
Yeah, they have. Mark Sanchez and Rex Ryan were a terror for a couple of years. They've been Bills during the drought were like splitting with the Jets every year. It was a fierce rivalry.
My heart goes out to all the New England Patriots fans that had to deal with a couple good years of Mark Sanchez in between their fucking a billion rings that they won. I'm so sorry, guys.
Well, that's the thing. You beat us once.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry that there was like a 2 or 3 year span where you weren't the most elite team. I mean, Fab, I'll pray for you.
I will never not hate the Jets.
Okay, we're going into the Ravens. I'm immediately slamming the over. I love Lamar.
Over. Lamar's got a lot to prove this year. They're going to be healthy.
Dobbins coming back, hopefully 100% healthy. They got
that entire secondary coming back. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Shout out to Pomp too. Shout out Pomp.
Pomp's a Ravens guy.
Pomp's the Ravens guy. Oh
I
yeah,
had no idea.
Me and Pomp talk a lot about Bills Ravens stuff. A lot of mutual respect there between Lamar and Josh. But as the hated on guys of that draft class, because everybody wanted Josh Rosen, Sam Darnold, Baker Mayfield, not Josh Allen, not Lamar Jackson, but we did. So we're a kinship there. But we all like the over. Let's get into the Rams, the Super Bowl champions, 10.5 there. This is a tough one. I'm gonna go over. I think they go. I think they get to 11. Yeah, I think they get right to 11 there. They lost a lot.
Here's the thing, though. Like, if Cooper Kupp pulls a hamstring and has to miss 3 weeks, then they're easily going under.
Then
not only have
your number
they
one.
lost their offensive coordinator as well, they lost Von Miller, obviously. And I'm a big believer in the Super Bowl hangover, so I'm going to take the under here. Actually, I think 10 flat.
All right. Yeah, I think they barely get to 11. But
I was going to say over as well, just because I don't like that division. I think they're the best team in that division. Like I said, with the 49, I'm predicting a rough season for the 49ers, which plays into the Rams winning 11 games. I think like Mere said, I think they'll get to 11. I do not think they will have the same success in the playoffs at all. But it'll be a good regular season team, I think.
Speaking of good regular season and good playoff, I guess, they have got it. What am I talking about? We got the Buccaneers over under 11.5. I think I put a 0 instead of an O there for some reason. That just looks weird to me. Wait, let's compare them real quick. Oh, 100% that's a 0.
Yeah.
For the tune into the YouTube if you're listening. You got to check this out. This is crazy shit, guys. This fucking O is a 0. This is wild. The Buccaneers over under 11. I'm gonna go under. 11.5 is a lot. I don't know how much I believe in Brady, other than the NFL wanting it to be his actual farewell tour. Brady pushing ratings, gonna force the Bucs to win any way they can. I'm one of those guys, yeah. But Buccaneers under. Lenny's fat too.
Lenny is fat.
I saw that. Showed up to camp at 265, apparently.
Lenny's fat.
But I'm gonna take. There's a caveat here. I'm gonna take the under, but it's only gonna be by a game or a game and a half. I think they win 10-11. I think this is a team that really, isn't not only built for the regular season, but doesn't really care. They're in a weak division. As long as they slide into the playoffs, they can easily make a Super Bowl NFC championship run. Gronk's probably going to come out of retirement in week 8 and just decide, he doesn't want to do training camp for the preseason, but the guy loves ball. I'm going to take a very slight under, but I do think they still have one last playoff run in them before Brady hangs them up.
Yeah, I'm going to go under. Their schedule is kind of a bear this year. I'm seeing Cowboys, I'm seeing Chiefs, I'm seeing Rams, Browns, Cardinals, Bengals. I think it's going to be kind of an underwhelming season for the Bucs. However, they're going to be, obviously, with Tommy back there, they're going to be a team you don't want to see, but they're going to be a low seed, and I think they're probably going to make some noise in the playoffs after an underwhelming regular season.
So pretty much my exact take. Okay.
Yeah.
No ball.
Yeah.
We know ball here, but next up
I'm glad I have a platform to get these takes on the record and out in public. So the ones I'm wrong about, I can completely ignore, and the ones I'm right about, I can go back and
dig up. Yeah. I love doing that. But we got the Jaguars over under 6.5. Quick one for me. I'm going to take the over. I hate how their roster's constructed, but I think Trevor Lawrence takes a big step, and I think there's enough for him there.
Yeah. Take the over as well. I think they have a talented enough wide receiver core. Along
overpaid, but
overpaid, but that. Oh fuck! Wait, did I just close the stream? No, I'm still here. I thought I just closed my tab on accident.
Oh no.
Talented. You don't give a fuck about the long-term roster salary cap implications when you're looking at over-unders. So overpaid don't mean shit to me. Trevor Lawrence, he's the most hyped prospect in the country for a reason. His entire life. Got rid of the dysfunctional Urban Meyer situation. The only guy who gave Matt Nagy a run for his money in terms of sucking dick at coaching football. Mm-hmm. I'm taking the over as well. I think it's addition by subtraction getting Urban Meyer up on out of there.
So simple answer. I'm just going to go under because I don't believe in Trevor Lawrence at all. I do like Christian Kirk, but I just think it's hard for me to get behind the Jags. 7 wins for them is like a million for another team. I like I said, I don't believe in Trevor Lawrence, which I think is obviously a hot take. Like you said, the most hype prospect we've like ever seen in our lifetime. I think the Jags are going to stink this year.
Yeah.
Under.
Okay. Under. Let's go. Next up, we got the Dolphins over under 9. I think this is a big push. I think I'm not 2-0. I do think Tua could be a good NFL quarterback, and he sure as fuck got to weapons too with Tyreek, Waddle, and Cedric Wilson there. Chase Edmonds, even a decent receiving back. I think this is like push material because division's going to be so tough, and the new coach, what's his name? Kind of a weirdo. Mike McDaniel, yeah, kind of a weirdo, but I like him. I'm kind of rooting for him, even though he's an AFC East guy. Yeah, that's the thing. If he wasn't AFC East, I'd probably love him, but I got to root against the Dolphins. I think 9's a good push number. I'm going to throw it out there. Push.
I agree with Mere. Push.
I'm taking the over. I'm a bigger believer in Tua than most. I think that's just because I saw him play college football in like 2016 and told everyone I thought he had the prettiest Spyler I'd ever seen. So I kind of have to die on that hill. Add Tyreek, add some weapons. I'm a believer in McDaniel as well. I'm taking the over. I like those weird brains like McDaniel has.
Yeah, I'm a fan of his brain. Next up, we got the Eagles over under 9.5. This is a big number. This is disgusting. I'm going to say this. I'm taking the over. I am like the biggest Jalen Hurts believer. Now you add A.J. Brown into his equation with Devonta Smith. Just a great offensive line, great coaching there. In my opinion, just Nick Sirianni really started to come on at the end of last year and prove like all the doubters wrong. Started to have faith in Jalen Hurts. He's heading into this year as the number 1 quarterback. No, they didn't draft anyone. They didn't trade. All those rumors pushed aside. Big year for Jalen Hurts. Over.
I agree. I have Jalen Hurts as the cornerstone of my dynasty fantasy league. So I'm all in on Jalen Hurts. I think they'll win 10 or 11 games. I'm looking forward to seeing the Cowboys and Eagles.
I think Eagles win the East.
I hope so. I'm pulling for the Eagles. I said I hate the NFC East earlier. Actually, I'm pulling for the Eagles, assuming that it's those two because I don't think the Giants or the Commanders will be competitive. Really, as long as the Cowboys don't win, I'm happy. But over on the Eagles.
Over on the Eagles.
I'm conflicted here. I got to be honest. Yeah. So I am not a big believer in Jalen Hurts at all. I do think he's capable of taking you to 10 wins, obviously, and I do think it's a good situation for him. I'm gonna take the over. I hate to agree with everyone here and not give any content, but I'm taking the over purely because I fully expect that they still will have the best offensive line in football, which is something they've been able to brag about since they won their Super Bowl. That offensive line, best O-line coach in football, not even arguably at this point. This guy's a fucking man. Jeff Stoutland. I'm just gonna give the O-line talk because the O-line doesn't get enough shine. Jordan. I can never pronounce this guy's last name. Last names are going to be the death of me. But the guy they have at left tackle, they drafted him a few years ago. He was on the Super Bowl roster, finally stepped up into that starting role last year. Jordan, he's Samoan. Malata?
I know who you're talking about. I have no idea what his name is.
I'm bringing back Lane Johnson at right tackle, too. That's probably the best tackle duo in football right there. That's the best right tackle in football for a decade now. And yeah, Kelsey, obviously at center. That's
Kels.
No,
that last NFL season it came out. Yeah, they said that Travis and Jason said that their last names being pronounced wrong forever. It's really Kels, but they don't give a fuck.
Yeah. Well, he's the heartbeat of the whole organization there at center, snapping the ball.
That was me.
I think
I was like, what?
Great running. You put a great running game in Myles Sanders and Jordan and all those guys. I like them.
Yeah. Good. I like what the Eagles are doing. Next up, Fab. It's your time.
I just said Jordan instead of Jalen. Jalen, I know Jalen Suggs. I know you listen to the pod. I'm sorry.
So I think I did mention this before. I took Patriots over 8.5 as a future, and then when the schedule came out, I panicked and ended up getting into it with the Bet Online guy, getting it voided, and I ended up getting it voided because I didn't like 8.5. But now I'm back on over 8.5. I think we'll win 8.5 games. I mean, like I said, we got the NFC North this year. I think we'll beat everybody except for the Packers there. I think we'll win 9 games this year. Patriots will win 9 games.
Oh,
that's my prediction.
You're beating everyone except the Packers, huh?
I think so, yeah.
You got to come out to Soldier. We'll be going to Foxborough, do you know?
I got it right here. Bears.
Wait, don't before you even tell me. Let's make. Wait, we're playing the whole AFC East this year, no?
Yeah, it's at Foxborough.
Guys. Okay, but then
N'Keal Harry revenge game.
Are the Bills? We got to talk about the. We should have set aside a segment for that.
I know.
Do we want to talk a little bit about it now?
We can get over it quick, and then we'll just have to rip through the rest of the league, other than the Bills.
Yeah. Okay. Wait, Mere, where are the Bills coming to Chicago?
I think it's Bills in Chicago. Yeah.
I was just saying. What I was gonna say was I think that would be a dope opportunity to finally meet up.
It is.
Yeah. So it's
those games.
Yeah. So Bears come to Gillette.
Yeah. So.
Live pod.
It's on Christmas Eve. The Bills are playing in Chicago. So
and then Halloween. The Patriots won Halloween.
December 24th is not a big holiday at all. You probably won't be spending time with family at that point. So
you got a table at the dinner table? Or you got a seat for me?
That would be electric. Mere at the family Christmas. We actually usually go up to Michigan though, so that's irrelevant. But when do the Bears head out to Foxborough, Fab?
October 24th. I believe that's Halloween weekend, wouldn't it be? Right around there,
or a week before Halloween.
Virginity. That would be a fun link up.
Gillette Stadium, yes, sir.
Yeah.
Let's talk over under. What do you guys think? I want to hear your thoughts. I'm going over. I think they'll win 9 games.
Over out of respect, 9.
I'm gonna go the opposite way. Fab's what I didn't have an opinion, but Fab's self-doubt there is really what's convincing me to take the under. He just said he voided a overs bet, but then went back to it. If you're a fan of the team and you're that confused about the team, I'm not buying into it. So I'm taking the under purely off that. And also Mac Jones, only the second best quarterback from his class. So
I will just say the way that I feel about this Patriots team is the same that I felt about this year's Celtics team. I thought both of them this was a year too early. Obviously, I was wrong about the Celtics. They made the finals, but I think the same thing about the Patriots. It's a year too early. All I care about is max progression. I don't give a shit how many games we win.
Okay, how many teams do we have left?
We have fucking 12 teams. Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna speed run the last 4, except for the Bills. Let's speed run the last 4.
All right, just over under.
Last 4? You mean last 12?
I meant last 4 minutes. I meant 4 minutes because let's keep it under 2 hours.
Well, yeah, we're good if we go a little over, but Colts over under 10. I believe in Frank Reich and good offensive weapons. Matt Ryan maybe got something over.
Yeah, I'm going over as well. No bias there that they play in Indiana, obviously, but also very biased. Kind of that Broncos model where they've built everything else around the team and have done a great job of building that. They just haven't really had a quarterback to slot in there, so.
I'm going to go under on the Colts. I think I'm not going to say that. I just think Matt Ryan's getting old. They're asking Jonathan Taylor to do a lot. He goes down. Who knows what they look like? I think I'm a big
believer in Matt Ryan this year personally. I still think he has that MVP level to go to still.
I was going to say something really bad, but I'm not going to. To be courteous to my Colts fans who I love on Twitter, I'm just going to take the under and I won't say anything else.
All right, we got the Falcons up next. I'm just gonna go under. Falcons suck.
Under. Kyle Pitts will have a good year. They'll go under.
Don't hate Drake London. Yeah, under. All right.
I don't even have a sentence to say that team doesn't move the needle at all.
Cardinals over under 8.5. Cardinals are going to start 7-2 and still go under this.
Under. I'm out on the Cardinals. Under.
Out.
I'm going over. I think this is a preposterous line. I think Kyler, he might not be a playoff QB, but he still is a regular season QB.
All right. Saints over under 8. I'm going to go under. Love J Boo. I don't even know what's going on there. 8 under.
I think 8 is the right number. I think they'll win 8 games, but I'll lean over. I think they'll win 8 though.
Over. I still believe in Jameis Winston. Call me crazy.
How
Fair.
can you not? All right, Panthers over under 6.5. I'm going to smash this over because I believe in Baker Mayfield, and I like some of the weapons they have there. I like Terrace Marshall a lot. Robbie Anderson's the side.
I agree. Over.
Over.
I'm rooting for Baker to succeed. I think they have a great roster around him, and it's mostly just me rooting for Baker and against that pervert Deshaun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, over.
I think Matt Rule's going to get fired, but they're going to go over.
And that's very big of me to take the over because I had the number 1 overall pick in both of my fantasy leagues last year. I took McCaffrey with both of those picks, and he fucked me irrevocably in both of those leagues. But regardless.
All right, next up we have the Texans over under 4.5. This is actually another absolute smash for me. Davis Mills, we love making fun of him because his neck, the way he closed out last year. He's a good quarterback. I think he has a chance to be like a franchise type quarterback. Not elite, but a franchise quarterback. I think he could stick around for a long time. He's good. I like some of their young receivers. Nico Collins, great dude. I like him a lot.
Fuck the Texans organization, but I'll also take the over.
True.
I think they'll win 5 to 7 games.
Yep.
Mills Mafia.
I've seen one Davis Mills game. It was Monday Night Football, and I was drunk at a bar, and I just remember being wildly impressed with the drives Davis was putting together. So I'm taking the over as well.
There we go.
That feels low.
It does
Very
feel
low,
extremely low.
Preposterously low number. If you gave me the 0-16 Lions at over under 4.5, I'm probably taking the over.
General perception with the Texans and like Mills just sucks because he was a meme forever and he had like that all-time bad game against the Bills in his like 3rd start ever. So I like Mills, but we got Giants over under 7. I like New York sports deserves better. Shout out to them, but I don't like Daniel Jones under.
Yeah, I have a ton of Giants fan friends, a few that listen to this pod. Yeah, I'm not a Daniel Jones guy at all, so no. I do. Once they move on up out of Daniel Jones. I do think their new head coach hire, who's Brian
Daboll
from the Bills.
Yeah. I wanted him for the Bears. I do think he's going to be a great coach, but Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley are not a winning formula.
Not moving the needle. No, I love Daboll, like you said, and similar to the Jets, I'm also very much incepted by Giants Twitter. However, I will not fall for their tricks. I hate the Giants for obvious reasons, and I think Daniel Jones stinks. Under.
But
I love you, Giants fans.
I love you, Lions fans. Bills Lions have a certain kinship. Bills kind of saved the Lions. Our owner gave them a huge loan so they cannot get sold. And now we play them every single preseason because of it. So we love the Lions here. I'm going to go under, though. I think there's going to be some super exciting guys on the team to watch, like fantasy relevant. I love DeAndre Swift. TJ Hawkinson's awesome. Jameson Williams, but under.
Yeah, in contrast to Mir, I absolutely fucking hate the Lions. The Vikings I'm very indifferent to. That's not a rivalry to me. I don't. But the Packers I hate because they beat us my entire life. The Lions I hate because they just played us dirty every time. I love Dan Campbell as a guy. I don't love him as an X's and O's football coach, and kind of in the analytics driven era, you need someone who really just knows the game inside and out. He's more of a leader of men and a motivator than that. And I love DeAndre Swift, but I'm not a believer in Goff and the Lions, and I also fucking hate the Lions. So I'm not going to take the over on an NFC North team. That's just not going to happen.
Yeah, I think I would hammer the Lions over on almost winning games.
I'm going to take another piss while Fab gives his take. I'm sorry.
I'm going to take one when you get back. So, I'm going to take the Lions over on covering the spread and almost winning games. I think they kind of used up a lot of their magic last year. They didn't have a great record, but they were very frisky, I feel like, in a lot of games. I think they'll do that a few times, but 6.5, like Rick said, I love Dan Campbell, absolutely electric, but I don't know. Other than him being electric, I don't really know how much he's going to do for a football team as far as building. Under.
Under. Speaking of another gross team, we have the Seattle Seahawks over under 5.5. I'm going to take under. Is it like Drew Lock is going to be the starter, or is there going to be a quarterback competition between Geno and him? I don't know, but either way, it's disgusting. Get DK Metcalf, get Tyler Lockett.
Drew Lock is your quarterback under.
Yeah.
Under. From exactly what Mir just said, the quarterback competition between Drew Lock and Geno Smith. Under. I hate Pete Carroll. I hate the Seahawks. Under.
Under. Next up, we have the Cincinnati Bengals over under 10. I feel like the over on this is probably the most publicly bet total possible. I don't have any numbers behind that right now. It's just a feeling that everyone is hammering the over on this. I kind of like the push, maybe even the under. Bengals, super overrated team just because they made it to the Super Bowl. I love Joey B, love Jamar Chase. Defense stinks. Offensive line stinks. Coaching questionable.
I think you said push. Is that your prediction?
Yeah, push under.
I'm the same exact thing. I think the Ravens are going to win that division, which would probably mean the Bengals get 10 wins or less. So I would go push, leading under. But I do, no disrespect to the Bengals. I love the Bengals. But yeah, the team that just made the Super Bowl tends to get overrated. I'd have to go, yeah. 10 feels like a good number for them, though. 9-10.
10 does feel like a good number. We did lose Rick. He's dealing with something, but we'll just keep busting these out. We have the Bills next. Let's go over under 11.5, tied for the biggest in the league, I believe, with the Buccaneers. It makes sense. I'm definitely not biased or anything, but they are the best team in the NFL. So I'm going to take the over on that. I was telling you before the show, there is a real fear I have that the Bills start like 2-5, but I don't think that's actually going to happen. In the second half of our schedule is so cake, and I believe so much in this roster and how deep we are. I think the Bills go 12-5 this year. Like, that's my prediction, so I'm going over.
Going off of what you just said, so if saying that does happen, or if that does happen, I think we have a live total to hammer. Assume if the Bills were to go 2-5, that live over under shatter it. I think the Bills, like Mir said, as much as it sucks to say, I think are the best team in the league. They're my pick to win the Super Bowl. I think they are going to win over 11.5 games. Over.
Okay, wait, I can hear you guys again. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, what'd I miss?
Over on the
Bills.
Bills.
Took Bills over.
Both took Bills
back.
over. 11.5 is a high number, Mir.
It's a high number, and I said that the Bills
know.
can start. Like, the Bills have a real opportunity to start the season like 2-4. They have a very tough schedule to start, but
yeah, when you finish first in the division, you're oh my god, I'm looking at it now.
Yeah,
and not only that, but playing in a division where you're the best team in the division, but the other three are like very capable of giving you a run at the bare minimum. Like
a lot's going to weigh on Trey White is his status. You know, he tore that ACL last year. He's not, ready to go yet. People think he might be ready for the season. I think we're going to wait till like Halloween to kind of activate him. We'll see how that goes. But he's a top 5 cornerback in the NFL when healthy. So that's a big deal.
Yeah. And you got a quarterback who is top 3 right now, but has had the most explosive growth we've seen from like any player ever. So like you got a quarterback who's elite now, but there's no ceiling on him. So
yeah,
I want to lean under just because you just had like a dream season, barely came up short. That's a spot for a lot of teams to like buy into their own hype and have a letdown kind of year in terms of the regular season at the least. But
yeah,
like we have no like we're in uncharted territory with Josh Allen. We have no idea just how good this guy is going to be. Yeah. And he could like come out and improve again and like be even better, which is a very scary thought. So I'm leaning under, but with the caveat that I am not going to be shocked if Josh Allen just makes me look like a total fucking idiot.
I appreciate that. All right. We got 3 teams left, guys. Final stretch. The Raiders over under 8.5. I'm going to go under, even though they made a ton of good moves. I like Derek Carr. AFC West is just going to be so fucked, and I don't trust in their coaching staff.
I'm going over. It was a coach. They stuck with their interim coach, right?
Yeah, it's Bisaccia, I believe, right? That's what I'm going over.
I just like the whole locker.
Oh wait, no, it's Josh McDaniels.
Oh,
it's Josh McDaniels.
Yeah.
No,
That's right.
It was the special teams coordinator that stepped up.
Yeah.
Is that guy still with them?
Bisaccia's the one who stepped up as interim. They didn't rehire him. They hired McDaniels. I don't know if Bisaccia stayed with the team.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna lean under just because I'm not a McDaniels guy. I am a Derek Carr guy. I love that they added Devontae Adams, but history tells us this isn't a guy who's maybe a great head coach, maybe not a great manager of the locker room. Yeah, under.
Obviously, I'm very familiar with Josh McDaniels. We've had our ups and downs. I think
once again, I said it earlier. Fuck off! You won multiple Super Bowls with the guy. Your downs were that the Jets were good for a couple years. Well, it was all ups with that fucker.
Well, it's Tom. I don't even want to get into it. It's such a big debate, but Tom Brady covers up a lot of things. That's all I'll say.
That's a good point. I'm just saying, my whole life as a Bears fan has been downs. So you don't get to say you've had ups and downs with any member of the Patriots in your lifetime. Except for Hakeem Harry. Nikhil.
Yeah, I'm going to go under.
Nikhil. Dude, I just a 0 out of 10 performance from me on names tonight. This is just brutal. I can't remember a single name to save my life. I couldn't even remember my own name.
Raiders division's really good, like we talked about. I think they're going to win 8 games, so under slightly.
Okay.
We got Titans.
We got you got it, Fab? I was off screen for a second, my bad. I was doing producer stuff, No Titans over under 9. I'm gonna push. I'm throwing a straight push out there.
Yeah, I like the push.
Here,
I think push leaning towards the under.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just don't know how. I don't know what Derrick Henry's longevity is really looking like with that injury last year. I mean,
right.
If he goes out within the first 3 weeks, I don't think anybody in the world would be shocked. And then from there, I mean, granted, they beat a lot of really good teams without Derrick Henry last year. I just don't really have much faith in Tannehill or Malik Willis.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with Fab 100% there. I actually do love Malik Willis as quarterback going forward. He's very raw, but as long as Tannehill gets off his fucking high horse and maybe teaches him a thing or two, I do like Malik Willis. But yeah, Fab, this is what exact same thoughts you had. I don't like root for injuries, obviously, but like you have to question the longevity there with Derrick Henry. Obviously he's been, up until that injury last year, he's been like maybe the most durable person on the planet. But history tells us that, center your offense around a running back and center your offense around getting that running back like a billion touches a season just really isn't sustainable. So yeah, I agree with you for exactly what you said.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So next up, our last team.
Rick's favorite team, right?
Rick's favorite team.
Green
Bay Packers over under 11.
Fuck you. Fuck you.
I would say something else, but I'm gonna say push. Another push. I would say something else. What do you want to say, Mir? I would say under, obviously, but I don't want to just be contrarian with you, so I'm saying push.
Under, fuck you.
That feels like a high number. For I'm gonna go under. I'm leaning towards a push. I think they'll win 11. 11 games would be my pick for them. Yeah. I don't know what their schedule looks like. I'm gonna lean towards under, but I don't have a ton of faith in the. I feel like the Packers.
Well, so they're playing the AFC East.
True, that's fair. Okay, so
yeah. So I mean, like, do you have any faith in your own team whatsoever?
Well, I think a lot of that.
So there's an L. Mir, do you have any faith in your team? L.
What I said, Bills Bears, might have a rough start.
2 L's. That's 4 losses right there.
I think the Bills are going to trounce the Packers.
Give me that.
I think the Patriots-Packers is a little bit more of a toss-up.
I'll tell you what. I know the Bills got some diehards, but like I realized this last season. I genuinely think like this is not a joke. This is not a bit. This is something I had a very coming to Jesus moment and realized in my core, I think I root harder against the Packers than I root for the Bears. So I think I'm going to be, besides MereKat, the second biggest Bills fan on planet Earth when they play that week. That's applicable to like every team. Like
Patriots.
At this point,
I'm praying the Pats for sure.
I'm praying on it. I think it'll probably shift when Rodgers finally fucking retires, just because that smug fuck has been responsible for more heartbreak in my, upbringing and my current life than my parents' divorce. But like, he's like kind of the face of why I root against the Packers for me personally. But like, I genuinely think I pray on their downfall more than I like hope the Bears succeed. And maybe that's just because the Bears have always sucked in my life, and I just don't have a whole lot to root for, except for, an oddball year here and there. Yeah, there's no, to every fiber of my being, I'm taking this under, and there's no scenario in the next 50 lifetimes where I take this over. And that's just for the Packers, really. That's just something you have to accept if you're tuning into the podcast. I mean, that is like, I meet a new person. They say, "Tell me about yourself." It's point one. I hate the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah, fuck the Packers, right off the rip.
Packers.
That does it, right? Is that all 32?
We made it through. Yeah. I didn't know if we'd make it through all three or all 32, all three. Jesus, yeah, it was a marathon. Good show though.
Yeah, another. Let's plan for a shorter show that ended up 2+ hours.
Even longer than
I'm never gonna say it again.
As long as Hey, it's hard to be able to riff off each other so easily, but someone's got to do it,
Right? Yeah, it's such a burden having this much chemistry.
You want to wrap us up, Rick?
Yeah. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, as always. Apparently people think we're boring, but I mean, I'm having a good time.
Having fun, yeah.
Yeah. Whatever their fucking names are in the Jersey Jerry Army, apparently we don't have enough listeners for them, but like, I have a great time doing this. This is one of the best 2 hours of my week every week. We're not doing this for the clout. We're doing this because we love riffing with each other. We love, hearing the feedback from you guys and seeing the questions from you guys and like involving our listeners with it, doing those live shows, et cetera, et cetera. This is just a great 2 hours for me every single week. Love you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Couldn't agree more.
I'm talking to you two directly. I'm not talking to listeners.
I love you.
Love the listeners as well.
Love you.
Thanks for tuning in. Another great episode. What do you guys have? Closing thoughts before I get too drunk and sentimental here.
No, just going off of what you were saying. When I see Sweet Tea Poppy live tweeting him listening to the show, that just makes like everything just worth it. Just like getting like one person who likes the show or is talking about it or whatever. Like Rick said, like we don't really give a shit. Like obviously we're just kind of through this together. We're just learning as we go. We have a fun time recording this, and we hope you guys continue to enjoy listening to it. We appreciate all the support.
Yeah, I've always said this. I started like my Twitter as just like a joke to like get sports takes off and like have like an anonymous kind of internet presence. Mm-hmm. And I was, not to brag, I have the most followers of anyone on this podcast. I've been doing this shortest, but I was more shocked than anyone that like anyone gave a shit about like what I had to say. And just the fact, Fab, you said it, like just the fact that even any one person tunes into this shit is fucking awesome. And like,
it's incredible.
As long as we have at least one, I'm down to keep doing this. I love shooting this shit with the fellas. Love everyone who tunes in and, makes this so fun to do. And we've said that over and over. You guys are what like make this podcast enjoyable. So yeah, thanks for tuning in. If you somehow made it through all 137 minutes of this,
good math.
Closing thoughts. Let's hear it.
Love you guys, and I love you guys, but love you guys. And
that was to me and Fab, then that was to the listeners, then that was to Jersey Jerry Army in chronological.
Exactly. Great breakdown there. But no, I've been, I've done a lot of shows and stuff, like not my first podcast, but this is the first one I've helped like build from like the ground floor and like, take a backseat roll on kind of and produce and like, I wouldn't have done this if it wasn't like you two guys. Like, I believe in you guys. I wanted to be that kick in the ass you needed. I wanted to help you guys bring you what you wanted to do to reality.
I've been the first to admit you were the kick in the ass.
Yeah, MereKat makes this go.
Thanks for letting me ride along.
That's a good wrap. That's a good wrap up there. Appreciate you guys.
All right. Yeah. Good night.
That does it. Good night now.
Hey, it's freaking fair. Huh? It's freaking fair. What? It's freaking fair. It's freaking fair, breaking balls. Takes me off the walls. Talking all that shit that make you wanna get involved. They no ball. Rick and Fab, no ball. Look, when you wanna talk ball, tell me who you call. I know it's Rick and Fab got it all. They no ball. Look, Rick and Fab, no ball. Yeah.